Hey everyone, welcome to another live episode of the Outlaw Nation Show here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, and I'm excited to be bringing this show tonight, having a little get-together with an old friend of mine, an old rival of mine, bringing him on to the ranch here to have a great conversation with us here in the Outlaw Nation. Going to introduce him in just a second. Just want to tell you all, thank you so much for the support you've been giving to the Outlaw Nation since I started this thing a few months ago, seeing it kind of blow up right at the beginning and then seeing all the content, figuring it all out, what works, what doesn't work, putting it all together and having such a great response from all of you all. Can't thank you enough. All the stuff we do on here, from Mornings with the Outlaw to the Geek Buddies to the interviews I've been doing. I just had a couple interviews, Jean Renault, Cody Smith-McPhee. That's up there for you all to watch if you want to listen to them talk about their recent movies and what they got going on in their lives. Also, stuff we got going on, a couple reviews going to be coming out really soon. The Trial of Chicago 7, got together with a couple of the Geek Buddies to talk about that one. Then reviewing the first season of The Vow. That'll also be later on this week. So look for that content to all be dropping here, and a new episode of The Jedi Way with Laura Kelly and I. We were just talking a little bit before I got on to do the show about what we're going to be doing on this week's show. And then, of course, Thursday night, don't forget the debate, Impolite Truths. Dorina Arellano and I getting back together with some friends to watch the debate, this last debate. God knows how much of a debacle it's going to be, but we figured it out how we can watch the actual debate along with you guys, have comments and what have you. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So look for all that stuff here on the Outlaw Nation channel coming up in the rest of the week. But tonight, I am incredibly excited to welcome this guest of mine. He, of course, you know him from the Schmoes Know. You know him as one half of the legendary Mount Rushmore tag team champions of the world, the Patriots, where the other half of him was the I don't know, the infantile one is what I call him, the Sneider there, Jeff Sneider. And you also know him as the host of his own YouTube channel. He's the thumbnail king. He's a reviewer extraordinaire. And I'm proud to call him my friend. It is Joshua Tapia, ladies and gentlemen, a.k.a. JTE. How are you, brother? Welcome to the show.
Hey, John, thanks for that great intro, man. Really pump me up right before I jump on the camera. I'm like, yeah, I'm all those things. Let's do it.
All those things and more, man. It's so great to have you in here, dude. How are things? How are you? How are things? Like, what state of mind are you in? What presence? What is your world like right now as you're experiencing it in your world today?
That's a real interesting question, especially nowadays. I mean, listen, I've done what I've basically done in my whole life. I've fallen back into movies, a little bit more into video games. I really started going back and watching older films because I think if you follow me in the Schmoedown, I think classics has always been like one of my weak areas.
Yeah.
And it's just because I have seen them. That was a long time ago. And just having all this extra free time, I've just been rewatching some of the movies that are just like, how have I not watched this, or how have I not watched this since I was a kid? Wow. I just rewatched Bridge on the River Kwai.
Yeah.
Which immediately jumps into one of my all-time favorite movies. Like, I remember seeing it like in film school and really enjoying it, but so much time has passed. My appreciation for film is so much greater. And watching it, and you know, when you hear Alec Guinness, most people think Obi-Wan.
Right.
No, it's Bridge on the River Kwai. He won the Academy Award. He deserved it. You watch this movie and you're like, that's why this man is a legend in cinema. It's because of roles like this. Obi-Wan is a fun role. He's great in it. But for me, this is like, okay, this is somebody just at their absolute best. And David Lean, man, I have a 75-inch LED TV.
Nice.
And I can't help but feel like it was inadequate for this David Lean movie. Like, this man made movies for the biggest screen possible. Like, every frame is just like, my 75-inch TV did not feel big enough. I wish I could have seen it in theaters. If they ever played it at ArcLight, I would run there to go see it because I would love to see it on a big screen.
I think that's one of the great joys. You know, we were talking off camera before we started. You know, I recently moved to San Diego out of LA. You've been in Wisconsin for a little bit of time now. But one of the things I know I'm going to miss is being able to see older movies on the bigger screens there in Los Angeles. You know, seeing Lawrence of Arabia in the 4K restoration. You speak about David Lean, being able to see that in the Cinerama Dome or any one of those larger theaters that they show it in. Even in the revival houses like the Egyptian or the Arrow, it's still gorgeous to look at when you're looking at it through there in those revival houses and being amongst people who appreciate it at the level that you do. So that's great that you're falling back in love. Is this also a mini kind of study thing you're doing? I think because I know you just recently came back into the Schmoedown, that horror free-for-all. Is there more in your mind?
Yeah, not really. I just really wanted to get back into cinema and get back into checking off the boxes of movies that I don't really remember that well, but are like huge films when it comes to like cinema history. Yeah. So for me, I just want to go back and get to the classics. My next film I'm going to watch, something you would probably love. I'm sure you love The Searchers.
Yeah.
I have not seen it in forever. John Wayne. It's considered AFI's #1 Western of all time. Yeah. And I'm excited to go back and watch that again because I don't remember much from it. Wow. And yeah, I know. Like I'm telling you, there's like some movies that I saw once a long time ago, and I don't think I was ready for it at the time.
Right.
And it's great to revisit those kind of movies. Like the first time I saw French Connection, it was like early days in high school, and I don't think I really got the movie. Right. But like 5 years ago or so, I rewatched it, and I was blown away. I was like, this movie is amazing. I can't believe I didn't love it or give it the credit it was due back when I was younger. I was just a dumb kid who wanted to watch Hard Boiled and Face Off every day. So I love going back to rewatching these movies. I mean, there's classics I love from like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is one of my all-time favorites. Yeah, it's always been up there. You know, Godfather. There's a lot of those that are always going to be my all-time faves. Right. But I'm trying to go back and find some of these films that I've just kind of lost throughout time. Like The Searchers is what I'm really excited to go into next.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing you bring up, JT, because those are the things that you do. Like I feel the same. Like after been in this business now 5 years, fell into it ass backwards thanks to Christian Harloff. You brought in, I'm sure, through Christian as well. And it's like after a while, reviewing movies or talking about movies becomes so by rote or by numbers, or you get overwhelmed by it that you forget that there was a reason why you wanted to do this is because you loved movies. And so sometimes taking a break from doing all of that and like filling your time again with movies, revisiting them, re-examining them, or falling back in love with them, especially later on in life, because the reason these films are classics are because you can watch them at 20 years old and they're completely different to you when you're 30 or when you're 40. And I'm sure you're experiencing that now, as you said, watching these films all these years later. Again, it's a whole new appreciation as you've lived your life and experienced things, the ups and the downs. It's like a whole nother ballgame when you're watching these films.
Yeah, Bridge Out of Requie, the masterful production of that film makes it timeless. Yeah, he really blew up that bridge. He really had that train go. I mean, like you watch those movies and you're like, this will never get old because it was all done in camera. The production value is top notch. The filmmaking is top notch. I mean, the only thing that you could kind of tell is the age is obviously they use older cameras, the film stock. But nowadays with these new 4K transfers, like I watched River Kwai 4K, it looks absolutely amazing. Back when I was a kid, you would watch that movie VHS, and it was like standard. It wasn't, it just wasn't the same.
4:3.
Yeah. So having these, developments in home theater, I have, a great surround sound. I have a great TV. I'm able to watch these movies for the first time, even though it's not really the first time sometimes because of just the advancements in home theater technology, really.
Yeah, well, one of the producer of the show, Sean Barreto, you met earlier before we started the show. My birthday's this week on Friday, and he was very kind to send me the Universal collection here in 4K. So I can't wait to bust this out and watch Dr. Strangelove, Lawrence of Arabia, Gandhi, and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, all those in 4K. So, I mean, it's that kind of stuff that 4K is the way to go with so much. Like even now, because I'm a bit cocky or arrogant when it comes to reaching out to the publicists, I'm like, if you're going to send me a free movie, if it's not 4K, don't send me the movie. There's no usage for me because I'm not going to appreciate it the way it should be appreciated. I have a 55-incher in here. I got a 65-incher in the living room. The LG ones, because I love the blacks on the LG. And so seeing those classic movies through that prism in 4K are just incredible. So yeah, I hear you absolutely. Yeah, dude, totally, man, totally.
And like when you go see a movie like Avengers and you get the 4K, you're not seeing a big difference because you're seeing it in the theater with like Dolby and it's the best it's going to be. When you see in movies like Bridge on the River Kwai, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Lawrence of Arabia in 4K, it brings new life because they restore these films from the negative usually. Yeah. It just brings it to another level. I'm a big Rambo fan. I love First Blood. I'll never forget the first time I watched First Blood on DVD because that DVD was a huge jump from VHS. Yeah, I think much bigger than like DVD to Blu-ray. Right. And then I watched it in Blu-ray, and now I have it 4K. Yeah, and it's really amazing. Growing up in the '90s and having to deal with VHS, we really were dealing with low quality. So I just love 4K. 4K is probably where I don't know if they could go. There's rumors of 8K, but I just don't think there's going to be that much of a difference. I don't see how you can get better than what they're doing right now.
Yeah, well, dude, there's rumors of 20K. I heard 20K the other day. I'm like, what are you inside the movie at 20K?
Exactly. Like, what is happening here? Like, I don't know how much better you could get. I hope there's not 8K because I can't afford start buying everything again. I'm still a physical media guy. I have a lot of 4K.
Me too, man. I don't know about you, but like every time a new advancement comes, my collection gets smaller and smaller for that particular advancement because I become more and more picky about what I buy at that quality. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly. I remember for me, there was a time where I just bought everything. I call it the PJ Campbell syndrome. He buys everything that comes out every Tuesday, which is I love that he could do that. But I'm at the point where it's like quality over quantity. Now I still have a large quantity, but I really try to hone in on movies that I truly love that I want to revisit. I mean, does that mean I have, some guilty pleasures? Of course. I have The Last Dragon on Blu-ray. I watched it a week ago. There's certain movies that are just comfort food, but I'm not going to, own Transformers 3 and 4, but I own the first one, and I own Bumblebee, but I skip the rest.
That's your loss, dude. I got all of them.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
In 4K. They're beautiful. Except that second one. I don't like that second one.
See, there you go.
Real quick, just jump into a quick super chat. Brian Brawler, thank you so much. What a kind donation here on the super chat. He said, I'm not going to stay for the whole show. I'm hitting the hay. JT, what are you watching? And out of all the things you've seen recently, what isn't being talked about enough? The Vow and Ted Lasso I watched because of you, John. Next is Gangs of London. Oh, absolutely. You got to watch Gangs of London. That's kicking ass for sure. Yeah. What are you watching right now, JT? I know we mentioned Quiet. We mentioned but is there anything else that you're kind of diving into?
I absolutely love Ted Lasso. Yeah, I was tweeting the hell out of that show, trying to tell everybody to watch it. Yeah. What else have I been watching? I have watched The Vow. That's been fascinating. Anything cult has me completely interested. Yeah, besides the older films, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really dug into. Shows that I really like that I feel like not people talked about in the last couple of years. Corey Fukunaga did Maniac on Netflix. Oh, yeah. With Jonah Hill and Emma Stone. And I thought that was freaking fantastic. Wow. And I feel like nobody talked about it. Did you see it, John?
No, I did not. I didn't even hear about it. I didn't even know about it.
I love Corey Fukunaga. I mean, this is the guy that did the first season of True Detective, which is an all-timer in my book. Yeah. All-time best show ever. So Maniac is a very different, it's kind of like Inception meets Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Ooh, interesting. And it's very interesting, very well stylized. It's beautiful to look at. And it has humor, drama, action. I can't really to try to explain that show. I'd have to go through a lot. But if you want something interesting, that's beautifully shot, I would definitely check out Maniac. It's on Netflix. It's one of the better shows. I feel like nobody talked about.
Okay, fair enough. I like that. That's a good suggestion there. Also, we got a quick Streamlab, or a couple of them here. One from Helen. She donated very kindly. Helen said, just stopping in to say hi. Thank you, Helen. It's very kind of you.
Thanks, Helen.
And Doug Developer donated, said, which film scene in which you were too young to see on opening night would you have loved to have seen for an audience's reaction? Mine would be in T2 when a pissed-off Terminator unleashed a full clip into the T-1000 while on the hood of the truck. Yeah, is there something that is there a scene you saw when you were younger that now you'd love to go, and you got it, but you didn't really get it, and now that you're older, you'd love to go back and see an audience react to it from a movie? That's
an interesting question. I mean, I have memories of there's certain movies that I remember seeing as a kid that I remember thinking, all right, this is a giant step in filmmaking. The first time the T-Rex pops out in Jurassic Park, I remember being in the theater and just like my jaw on the ground, like, what am I can't believe what I'm seeing. Like the goat's leg lands on the car, the famous water. That's one of those movies, like, I wish people could understand what it was like to see such a leap in filmmaking technology. I feel like you don't really get that nowadays because we've seen it all, really. Like, you see movies like The Avengers, Mad Max, and you're like, oh, this is amazing. But, like, you know, obviously did this with a computer. It's so interesting to me, like movies like The Matrix. T2 was definitely one of them. The liquid term, the T1000, that was revolutionary, which was, you know, kind of predated with the Abyss. That's how I got the idea for the T1000. I love the Abyss.
When is that in 4K? I'm waiting for that one in 4K, for God's sake.
I've been waiting for that thing just for a Blu-ray. We never even got a Blu-ray. It never made the DVD to Blu-ray.
That's right. Son of a bitch, you're right. Wow. I totally forgot about that.
I don't know why. I had to buy it's a bootleg Blu-ray of True Lies, because that never made the jump to Blu-ray either.
Wow.
But I found a website that sold like their own custom Blu-ray of it. That's the only way I was able to get True Lies on Blu-ray. It's in my collection, and it looks great. And who knows? Hopefully James Cameron will release True Lies and The Abyss, because I would love both of those films. Even Titanic. Give me every James Cameron movie in 4K, and I will buy it.
Agreed. Well, if you want to keep sending in your Streamlabs and your super chats, you can do so. Right above JTE's head is the address there, streamlabs.com/John Rocha says, and then /TIP/tip, or you can go into the description of this video, and you can see the link there. Click on that link or copy and paste that link and send in some support, some donations for this conversation we're having tonight. Any questions you want to ask, any thoughts you want to put out there between JT and I, please don't be shy. Don't hesitate. Send it on in. And of course, hit like on the video as well. Hit that thumbs up button. We got almost 100 y'all watching us live, so please hit that thumbs up button as you go along through this, through the show here tonight. And then later on, if any of you are watching this after we've recorded it live, and many of you do, please don't forget to leave a comment down below. It's always great. Leave a comment and leave a like. Comments and likes elevate the visibility of any show we have here on the Outlaw Nation channel, and maybe puts it on the suggestion side of things for other people who are watching similar content there in the world. Hey, Jake says the tip isn't necessary. I bet, Jake. I bet you know all about the tip being necessary or unnecessary, don't you there, pal? All right, anyway, let's move on to something else too, JT. When you look at all the stuff that's happening in the world of movies nowadays, man, it must be nuts for you, because, I mean, you know, you kind of moved out of LA, but you kept reviewing films. You kept jumping on top of stuff. You've done your, you know, you always do your annual review of movies, you know, which is fantastic montage that you do every year. I love it, watching it every single time. Has this been a weird time for you, like overall, that like you're not getting this new content coming in? Have you had to adapt, or are you just kind of putting the YouTube channel on the back burner for now until more content starts rolling in?
I've said this before. I think my greatest fear about death is that all the movies I'm going to miss when I pass. So I feel like a year of movies have been stolen from me. A year of my movie life has been stolen.
Like the Princess Bride, they took a whole year off of you in 10 seconds.
I should have seen Top Gun by now. I should have seen Ghostbusters Afterlife. I should have seen Black Widow. I mean, there's so many movies I was looking forward to this summer. The new, 007. Yeah. I should have seen Fast and Furious 10 by now, or 9, whatever it's at, 9. 9. So for me, it just sucks because I love, the indie films. I love watching, the fall season for the Oscars. But I think, for a lot of people, the summer movie season where you fell in love with just going to the movies, seeing those big blockbusters and the IMAX now. And I just miss so much, the happiest, for me as a film geek is when you sit down, the lights go down, the previews are starting, and I'm just like ready to go on that adventure. I saw Tenet in theaters out here. I was able to do that. Okay. And it felt great. I didn't love the movie, unfortunately. Right. But I did love just being back in that mode. It's something I've done my whole life. So I can't remember last time nothing like this has ever happened. I've always, nothing, this pandemic is it's unfounded in our lifetime. So I just feel like I'm losing a year of my movie life. Maybe it'll just be condensed in the next 2 years.
Oh,
but I don't know because everything's just been pushed back. Like now we're not getting the Batman until what 2021,
2022, 2022.
So I don't know. I mean, we still gotten some movies, Netflix, Amazon, and all that. I'm looking forward to seeing Borat 2 this Friday.
Oh yeah,
I really liked Trial of Chicago 7. I thought that was really good.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
But it's just not the same. Going to theaters for me is one of my all-time loves, and it definitely sucks. I miss going, man. I miss having those big movies.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm being here in San Diego, all the theaters are open, and it's just weird to be down here, but I don't feel that impetus or that push to go necessarily because of the COVID situation, because I don't know what can happen, and also because there's not new content out there. I haven't seen Tenet yet. I didn't see New Mutants, but it's still showing. It's still showing. They're still having screenings of these films. So I guess I should just kind of make myself go and watch it, but it just feels weird, man. It feels like walking into the ruins of the Coliseum and thinking about what used to be there for now. So for me, that's what it feels like and mentally in my head, and maybe I'll get over it. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's like a whole movie, a year of our movie lives have been taken from us. So much conversations, so much content that we could have been creating, or at least conversations we could have been happening with fellow reviewers or fellow friends who are lovers of film and all of that. So absolutely. What I do want to ask you now, how did you, let's go all the way back, man. Where are you from originally? So maybe some people don't know, where are you from originally? How did you get into the idea of movies? What is it that sparked this interest for you?
I mean, I grew up in the East Coast, Connecticut originally. Okay. That's where I basically grew up. It's funny, as far as I can remember, I've always been, huge on watching TV and movies. Yeah. I don't remember, it wasn't like an age where it's I definitely jumped to another level, I think, early in my high school days. Movies like Pulp Fiction and some of these movies that were coming out were just doing something different with, especially indie films. Yeah. In the 90s kind of jumped a little bit. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say exactly where I jumped in, but I just remember, having movies having a profound being a profound experience for me. Like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah, I remember watching, and if you haven't seen the movie, there's a scene where he chokes somebody, and it's this scene that builds up throughout the whole film. And I remember jumping off my couch and almost mimicking what Jack Nicholson was doing because I was so invested into the movie. And I think that's one thing movies that's so great about them is it lets you see, life in a different perspective, different people, different races, different nationalities. Yeah. There's so many things that you could experience through a movie that you might not be able to experience in your daily life. And to me, to be moved by a piece of art is something that's rare. I mean, listen, a lot of movies come out a year. Yeah. And sometimes there's maybe only a handful of really, really great movies. Sometimes you're lucky, then you have years like There Will Be Blood and No Country for Old Men. Those were two great movies in one year. Absolutely. Like masterpieces, in my opinion. And I'll never forget seeing Mad Max Fury Road in the theater and knowing as I'm watching it, this is a masterpiece. Yeah. To me, a lot of times going to the movies, I'm chasing that movie high. I'm chasing that movie high, man. Every time I sit down for a movie, there's a chance I'm probably going to be disappointed. There's a chance I'm not going to love it as much as I wanted to. Right. But then you sit down and you see a movie like Whiplash, where I didn't know that much about it going in. I saw it really early. Right. And you walk out of theater just flabbergasted by how great it was and how great that ending was. So for me, movies has always been kind of chasing a movie high. That movie high, it's rare, but man, when you get it, it is like you're on cloud nine.
I have never seen anyone or heard anyone explain it quite like that, and you're 1,000% right. Yeah. Every time, and that's some people, fans or people who are out there listening or watching the work we do. Sometimes it'll be like, "Oh, you critics! Oh, you reviewers! Oh, you pundits!" Blah blah blah. But it's like, no, we all walk into a theater wanting to experience that high. Yeah, I think most objective people walk into a theater wanting to enjoy the experience. They do not walk into a theater wanting to hate the movie. They want to be impressed. They want to be blown away. They want to be shocked and overwhelmed and look at their fellow person that they're with and be like, "Oh my God," or something like that. And you're right. You're chasing that movie high constantly. And I think that's also why we run back and watch the classics, because the classics kind of bring that movie high back to us. and make us remember it, kind of like listening to a song all over again. You just go, oh yeah, that's right. Or something about it clicks for you and you just fall back in love with it. Yeah, chasing that movie, that's absolutely right. And you hope you get it. And the best ones are the ones, like you said, where you don't know much about it. Then you walk into a theater, you watch it, you come out, man, damn, more people need to see this movie. More people need to hear about this movie, you know, that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, Blind Spotting was one of those movies I absolutely loved. And it was just entertained from beginning to end. It had a great message. It had a powerful moment. And I remember just walking out of theater like, why are not more people talking about this movie? And I immediately started tweeting about it. It was my number one film that year. So for me, yeah, nowadays, I love finding that movie high and then screaming from the rafters, tell people to go chase it. Another film that, and it's not always, you know, movies like, you know, Whiplash, like The Guest with Dan Stevens.
Yeah, right. That was great.
So damn entertaining. Yeah. And I saw that movie at ArcLight and it was only playing for like 2 weeks. And I remember just going to Schmoes Know Show and telling everybody, go see The Guest. You got to see The Guest. And for a good year, no one talked about that movie. And since then, though, it has built up this reputation. Yeah. And it's great to be there when I first saw it, loving it, and seeing it grow to this movie that everybody kind of loves now. Yeah. And that's something, you know, I would never have seen that movie if I was not into film and not giving movies a chance as much as I do.
Well, and it's funny. You know, I kind of am guilty of this as well. You know, you sit back and you go, well, you know, okay, cinema is changing. It looks like the medium-sized films are going to go to streaming, or the smaller films are going to go to streaming, and the big ones will be in cinemas now. That's what it feels like it's starting to move towards. And you go in your head, you're like, well, I guess that makes sense. But then you forget, like, some of those great Saturday afternoons or Tuesday afternoons that you could sneak off and go see this kind of independent film or smaller film and get that experience in the theater, that it was being screened in the best way possible for you to experience that. I don't know if we can mimic that at home. I think we come close, but I don't think we quite mimic the idea of everybody in this theater, or like 20 people in the theater feeling that vibe.
And here's a problem for me. Like, yes, I think you should go to the movies for films like Top Gun. I want to see that in IMAX in the biggest theater. But I think it's just as important for movies like, say, The Master, Paul Thomas Anderson. That is not a movie I feel like I could just throw on at home. I mean, you can, but you're probably going to pick up your phone once in a while. Yeah, you're probably going to go get a drink. Those are the kind of movies, like Paul Thomas Anderson films, where it demands your attention. You need to be in a theater that's completely dark, where you're not being distracted by your phone, you're not being distracted by a phone call or getting some food, because those kind of movies aren't like super snappy and entertaining and are going to like keep you. It's very much dialogue driven, and you just have to sit there and kind of be isolated with the movie. Yeah. And I feel like that's a lot harder to do at home. Just so many distractions. So for me, I want the theaters for the big movies, but I think they're just as important for the smaller films. Like, imagine 2001 Space Odyssey. Kids these days, kids with ADHD cannot watch that movie at home. They will be running around losing their mind. Yeah. That movie, you sit in the theater, you give yourself up to it. You're making a commitment. You're saying for the next 2.5 hours, I'm going to sit in this chair in the dark and give my full attention to this movie. I think the smaller, quieter movies need those theaters experiences just as much as the big ones.
It's a great point, dude. Yeah, absolutely. And you do get that. And for sure, that's absolutely the truth. Like 2000, I know so many younger movie pundits or so many younger people that I talk to who are trying to get into this business, go to 2001 and they get completely bored. And I'm like, you're missing the whole point of this movie. It takes its time to get there. It's a slow burn for a reason, because it's talking about such incredibly powerful concepts. And maybe it's because they're young, man. Maybe as they get older, they'll experience a little more of life. You'll understand it. I mean, to me, I don't know how much you got to tell me as a movie reviewer. If you never fallen in love, you never had your heart broken, you never tried for something and failed, or tried for something and succeeded at it. Like, to me, it's like you got to have a little more of a fleshed out life to be able to really understand some of the films that are coming down. You can talk all the technical stuff to me, but to experience a film, do you know what I'm saying?
The first minute of 2001 Space Odyssey is just a black screen and like a noise. It's almost like Kubrick is saying, clear your mind. Yeah. Like, it's almost get a meditation ready. Technique. Like it's like a meditation. And now, to me, like, that's like says everything right there. So Kubrick, but Kubrick's one of the all-timers. So
Absolutely. Ben Rayner donated here at Streamlab. He said, "Hi, Rocha and JT. I know you're a big fan. You're a big fan of T2, JT. What did you think of Terminator: Dark Fate? I know it's pretty split. I saw it. I thought it was okay, not bad, and not great. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming on the Outlaw Nation. Hit that like button." Thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. Yeah, JT, what's your response to that?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but there are things in the movies I don't like. there's two moments in particular that I don't like how it messes with the timeline of the previous films.
Okay.
I won't say it in case you haven't had a chance to see it. You don't want to get spoiled. Yeah. But it's well made. The action sequences are really well done. I think the villain is got a lot of charisma. Yeah. I mean, basically, he's a version of the T-1000, but in a different way. I think Arnold's actually really good in it. I think he's really good. He's funny.
I was so surprised.
Where his character goes is really interesting. I like it overall. I own it. I enjoy watching it, but there are two scenes. If I could, I would edit them out of the movie. Okay. And I think the movie would still work if you could just like re-edit some of these scenes, because I don't like the story choices. Okay. So if you're able to ignore those two big, things that bother me, or maybe they don't bother you, I think it's definitely a very enjoyable summer blockbuster.
Yeah, I saw it again the other day on, I think Stars. It was on Stars or something, and I sat down and I was like, am I crazy? Because I really loved it when I went to see it, and I was surprised that it didn't blow up or make a lot of money. I was shocked that this is the one that didn't make all those other crappy ones made more money than this one, and I was just so mad about that. And I think it's because of fatigue and people didn't like the story choice, like you said, the big story choice they made. I liked it. I liked the fact that they were like, you know what? This happened. So by this happening, you created a new timeline. Therefore, in the new timeline, this can happen in the new timeline. I liked that. And I did enjoy the Arnold stuff. God, I thought it was great and better than he'd been in any of these Terminator movies since maybe T2, a little bit of T3 as well. I thought it was great. And I thought Linda Hamilton coming back was good, even though she spoke about how much of a toll it took on her. I thought Tim Miller did a great job directing this movie and having Latinos finally be a part of sci-fi now over the last couple of years, 3 years. It's been nice to see. So I don't know. I liked it and I hated that it didn't do better.
I think it's really just people were burnt too many times. Those last two movies were so bad that you only have so much goodwill with the franchise. And I think, you heard James Cameron say and the director Miller say we're ignoring the last two. Yeah. They ignored three. The last three they ignored.
Yeah, right. 3, 4, 5. Yeah. But
I don't think every audience knows that. Yeah. Especially after the mess that was Genesis. That was one of the worst movies of that year, in my opinion. I just think all that goodwill they had from those first two movies, and maybe a little bit of the third, was just they were spent. But hopefully it finds an audience online, on TV, and the HBO Stars, wherever it goes. I think it will find a little bit of a second life. It'll get a little more appreciated as time goes on.
Yeah, maybe. Are we done with that franchise, man, or do you think they're still going to come back to it?
I listen. Nothing in Hollywood is completely dead.
True.
I think they need to take a long break. And whatever they do with it, I think Arnold should have anything to do with it. I think you get rid of everybody that we know. Yeah. You start from scratch with a new story in that universe.
Yeah, because if you create a new timeline and remove someone from that timeline, you can certainly create a new timeline and remove Arnold from that timeline once and for all and walk away from it, because they feel like they always have to put him in one of these movies, and there really hasn't been a need to put him in the movie since T3, to be honest. So it just was frustrating seeing these other films and what have you. Vincent Zawada says, with 2001, give me characters and a storyline. It does have characters and a storyline. There's two astronauts.
Yeah, Hal is one of the best character villains ever.
Yeah, Hal is the reason why I have an AI fear because of what he does in that movie, man. I mean, what are we talking about? Totally, Dave's a character. They're all characters.
I mean, listen, I get character development and like, do you really get to know these astronauts? No, but the movie is telling much bigger themes than humans. It's bigger than any of that. There's, we don't need a story about like the husband's wife's sick and he's up in space trying to figure something out. No, the ideas of that movie are so much bigger than humanity, than humans. That's a whole nother level.
Yeah, I mean, if you want that, watch Solaris, and a lot of you didn't. So, I mean, clearly, this is a better situation. And I don't mean the original. The original is fantastic. I'm talking about the George Clooney remake with Soderbergh. But yeah, and I agree with you 1,000%. I think it's the thing about 2001. It's like it's talking about. I mean, we did a breakdown of it with Scott Mantz on the Cinephiles, and one of the things that I discovered about it as revisiting again is it's an allegory for the Cold War that is happening, the Russian and American Cold War that's happening at the same time as Kubrick is making this movie, and so there's so much more going on here. This idea of characters and storylines doesn't really apply as strongly to something like 2001, which is a statement about humanity, about the end of humanity, the beginning and the end of humanity, and what's possible. So if you're looking at it for like, where's Joe and Joe's wife, and like you said, and who's cheating on Joe's wife, like that's not what this movie is about at all. And anything that Kubrick does is really not necessarily about the characters. It's very much about the bigger themes, the bigger concepts that he is tackling. I mean, outside of Spartacus, it really is. The rest of it is well, even Spartacus is about the idea of owning a people and people in power being corrupt and giving into their worst vices, which look, we're seeing a lot over the last 20 years here in this world. So it's just like that kind of stuff still holds out. Yeah. Kelsey says, my Siri is a British male now. LOL. Yeah. All right. Good luck with that. Let's see. We got something else here. D-Train said, what's up, JTE? What were your positives and negatives of Tenet? Do you see it being more liked in the future the way Interstellar was? Or was this an idea from Nolan that didn't quite hit the mark?
Yeah, oh man, that's a bag of Tenet. To me, I just left the theater kind of angry. I didn't know what the hell happened. I said there was a point in about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours into the movie, where I just started laughing because the conversations people were having sound like they were programmed by a computer that had to get this information out. The humans didn't feel real. They felt like exposition machines, which I think Nolan has. There's points in Inception where it's just like, certain characters there just for exposition. Right. That felt like every character in Tenet, none of it made sense. You had some great actors in there, and I don't blame the actors at all. Right. They're given this script, they were given this it's too complicated. I love just about every Nolan film. The only film of his, I liked Dunkirk. I didn't love it. Right. Me too. But Dunkirk, I can still watch just for a visual. Sure. Kind of like craftsmanship. While Tenet has some of that, it doesn't have the same level as like Interstellar or Dunkirk. It really does feel like a James Bond movie with this overly complicated plot that really, to this day, I still don't know what the hell happened towards the end of that movie. There's some impressive visuals, and the whole thing with like time going backwards. Yeah. It's just like Nolan has literally just buried that into my head through so many movies. I need him to get off the whole time thing just a little bit.
Yeah, he's too obsessed with it, man.
I was really excited for Dunkirk because I was like, ooh, a straightforward war film. Then I remember watching the movie like, wait a minute, wait, what's the time loop doing this? I need him just to chill out with that, come back, do a movie like maybe make him do another comic movie, man. He needs. I think Nolan is such a great craftsman, but I think he needs to rein in a little bit, man, because I don't see how general audiences could walk into Tenet and be anything but confused and frustrated.
Well, maybe you can do a Green Lantern movie, a full-on Green Lantern movie out in space. Keep it kind of lined up.
I don't know what to say. Tenet it was really a big disappointment for me. I left the theater frustrated.
See, now I have even less desire to see it, but I will eventually. But I have even less desire now. All right, so you grew up in Connecticut. Where did you go to college? Did you go to study film?
Well, I went to Full Sail in Florida.
Okay.
Full Sail University, which is basically like a below line and above line film school. Was there for a couple years.
A wrestling university, the professional wrestling university.
That wasn't there. Yeah, that wasn't there when I went. That started like years later. Like WWE signed a whole contract with them, so that's all new. It would have been cool to have that when I was there. Like they have TV and they have other stuff there. They do like music stuff. They have a whole music program, so it's not just film. They have different departments. I went to the film part. It's a lot of work. You're going to school like 5 to 6 hours a day, maybe more, and you're going through Monday through Friday. You're basically doing like a 4-year and 2-year.
Yeah,
you're doing 4 years worth of school in 2 years. It's really condensed.
Wow.
It's extreme, but they teach you everything from like craft services, best boy, grip, all the way up to director. So I think it's really good for getting a hands-on experience. But listen, man, I'm going to be straight up honest.
Please.
It's not what you know in LA. It's who you know. I never got a job through resume. Every job I got in film and TV was busting my ass and making connections and networking. So if you could skip film school with today's technology, I learned 35 millimeter film and 16 millimeter. They don't even teach that anymore. It's all digital. So you don't have to go to film school.
iPhone. Yeah, you don't need to know film.
It's crazy.
It's true. It's true. Let's see. Okay. It's true. I got another one that came through here. It's a super chat real quick. Chris Taylor says, give Nolan the Superman franchise.
He's already done Batman. Is it Man of Steel? He produced Man of Steel. Didn't he help the story?
And I love Man of Steel, but
me too.
like the other, but I didn't like Superman versus Batman. I didn't like Justice League too much. I liked it okay. I didn't like it too much, but like, I don't think Nolan vibes with Superman necessarily because Nolan's about the bigger concepts. That's why I think Green Lantern is a better situation for him. Space, the idea of betrayal, the idea of responsibility, the core, all of that. There's much more to explore there for sure. So maybe someday down the road he'll get back into doing something at on superhero wise. Yeah,
I would almost want him to stay out of DC and Marvel and give him something like The Crow, or something that's just like more indie in some ways, something that's a little bit not as popular and well known, because with his name attached to it, you get just some really cool like indie comic books out there. That's something I'd like to see him tackle. Like, he's done Batman. He's not going to get bigger than Dark Knight. Do something that's like so out there no one else can really touch it. But with him, he could probably do whatever he wants.
Hellblazer would be interesting. Constantine, like an actual. I mean, even though I like Constantine, the Keanu Reeves Constantine, I'd like to see him tackle something like Hellblazer and bring it closer to the source material and see if he can explore that idea of heaven and hell and the demons and all of that existing on our plane and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'd be down with that. So, could be fun. Could be a lot of fun for sure. All right, let's see here. We got any more Streamlabs super chats? All right, let's move on to that. Oh, so then you go full sail, and then what brings you out to LA? Did you try to work in the film industry out there, or did you go, I'm going to LA?
After I graduated, I think I went home for 2 weeks and went right to LA because my fear was if I went back home, I'd get comfortable and I would kind of get back to my old ways. So I had a friend who graduated a year before me, and I basically crashed at his place. I slept on an air mattress on the floor for like the first half year I was in LA. And then it was just about networking, taking PA jobs. And then, I was lucky enough through that to just kind of work my way into the industry. I did a lot of like assistant camera. I worked in transpo. I did craft services for one movie, basically just jumping from one job to the other.
Damn, dude.
Basically staying alive as long as I can in LA. And then there's so much more. The writer's strike was a huge problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that really dried up work for me. And I started working for Deluxe Digital, which was like, basically my job was to drive to the studios every day and pick up films for like color grading and transferring and stuff like that. Right. I did that for a while, but it sucked. It wasn't really what I wanted to do. Yeah. But I had to pay the bills, and that's what it is a lot in LA. When you first get there, you just survive, and network until you can get yourself to a better position.
How funny, man. I mean, the whole time you were at Deluxe, I was probably at Testronics working with Deluxe, not doing what you did. I was like reviewing, I was watching movies and doing quality control for like 5 years, soulless shit that you're doing to kind of stay alive and occasionally book a voiceover job or an on-camera acting job the whole time while I'm doing that, eventually I just became manager because I was like, nothing's happening. I might as well become a manager. But I came out here to be a filmmaker, to be an actor, to do all this kind of stuff. And then you get out here and the grind is the grind, man. You try to stay alive however you can. How did you was there a job that you worked that was the worst to work on a film set? What is the worst one that you did? I mean, it sounds like you really were able to do everything. Yeah.
I worked for this one company in Pasadena that did a reality show. They did like reality shows, and I don't really hate reality. I hate reality TV for the most part. So like that kind of sucked because I didn't enjoy what I was working on. Like at least when I was working on a low budget film, I was interested in what was going on behind the scenes. Like when you're a PA on a movie, you're learning so much just from being around it. Like, and people on set are really great about wanting you to teach you stuff. Yeah, because that's how they learned. They started off as a PA. Somebody took them under the wing. There was a crew that did sound. I kind of like learned with them for a while. Nice. There's a camera guy I learned from. So for me it was just the worst. I guess when I was working on this reality show, there was one called America's Next Top Latin Model, and basically they would run around like and do all these. Like they have scavenger hunts and stuff. But my job was every night a girl would get voted off. And the next morning it was my job to pick her up at her hotel and bring her to the airport. Oh. And every girl is just salty about getting, voted off the show. And I'd have to get to their hotel at like 6, 7 in the morning. And they would either be crying or mad.
Or hungover.
And I'd have to, I mean, listen, they were all beautiful Latin models, so it wasn't horrible. But
it's not. Yeah, right.
I basically had to drive to the airport and just be like, sorry. And then I'm like, you should have won. You should have won. I can't believe they didn't pick you. So that was probably it.
Did you speak Spanish? Do you speak Spanish at all?
At that point, I wasn't really fluent in Spanish yet.
Okay. Oh, so you became fluent eventually.
I moved to South America for a year.
Right.
And that's
Ecuador,
when
right?
Yeah, Ecuador. Yeah. And when I left Ecuador, I was pretty damn fluent. Wow. But I have not kept up with it, and it is pretty bad right now. I feel like if I went back for a couple months, I'd start to pick it back up. But I did a horrible job of keeping up my Spanish skills.
Are your parents Ecuadorian?
My dad is.
So your dad's Ecuadorian, your mom's white. Is that what it is?
Yeah, mom's born and raised in America.
Okay.
She joined the Peace Corps. Oh. Got stationed in South America.
Hello.
That's how she met my dad. He moved to the U.S. with my mom, and I was the first one out.
Are they still together now, or did they eventually? Oh, that's great. That's great.
They're in Ecuador. They have a house on the beach down there.
Shut the fuck up! They're down in Ecuador.
Yeah, they were smart.
That's awesome.
They were smart, and bought some property in the early '80s. So
right. Oh, that's great. That's smart.
They split most. They do come to the United States once in a while, but for the most part, they're in South America.
Were they pretty supportive of you, or were there battles there about you pursuing this?
No.
I mean, I'm the son of South Americans. My dad was not happy when I wanted to become an actor.
Not at all. My parents were just. I think after I graduated high school, I kind of put like Hollywood, to me, like going to Hollywood is like going to the moon. It just seemed impossible.
Right.
I didn't know anybody on the West Coast. I just don't know. I didn't know anybody, no family over there. I had no friends. To me, like, how am I going to leave Connecticut and go to Hollywood? But I think you eventually get to the age where it's like, well, what else? Why not?
Yeah. Right.
Really, it comes to why not. And my parents, I think they were just happy for me to do anything.
Right.
As far as like
some direction.
As long as you have a direction to go for it. But they're definitely worried because, it's not the most stable kind of job.
Yeah. Right.
But, I've been lucky enough, and I don't know if this is a positive or negative, but money has never been that important to me growing up.
Wow.
Some of the happiest times of my life were when I was at my most poor. When I was in college, I barely had enough money to eat. I was eating 2 sandwiches for lunch and dinner, but it was some of the best times of my life. Yeah. I struggled a lot when I first started the Schmoes Know show. I was working odd jobs just to stay afloat, but again, that was some of the best times of my life. Was just when we first started doing that show, none of us were getting paid to do it. We just did it because we were a bunch of people who love movies. we were lucky enough to, have this little show.
Yeah.
So
how did that money? How did that all come about? Like, how, for you being a part of it, like, were you there at the genesis of this whole thing? Like, how did you meet Christian and Mark and all of this? How did you get involved?
Yeah, it's funny. I'll give you the short version.
Okay.
I did Ken's podcast, and I did like a whole episode about it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So basically, the year I was in South America, I missed talking movies with people. Mm-hmm. And I started finding people online like Mark and Christian to listen to the movie reviews because I did not no one spoke English in South America. I didn't speak Spanish yet. So one of the things I missed the most, especially because I left LA, I missed film school. I missed talking movies. So YouTube was a way for me to kind of get that geek talk. Yeah. And then Mark and Christian were somebody I just kind of followed because I used to listen to Adam Carolla podcast.
Oh, right.
And they used to guest on there once in a while and talk about the movies of the weekend. So I found him through Adam Carolla, and I think I messaged Christian and said, hey, do you guys need like a PA or anything? I've worked on film, TV, commercials, and I didn't expect him to, give me a response. At that point, It was just Mark and Christian on the show. Right. And I think it was Katie Sackhoff at the moment too. So it was just them three. Okay. And then he said, oh yeah, he's like, let's meet for coffee. Instead, of course, I ended up meeting Ken Knapsack at the farmer's market because Ken had just become the producer a few weeks before I joined the show. I think his first job ever as the producer of the Schmoes Know Show was to meet me. And then when I started, I think Kay Sackhoff was still there. Tiffany had starred. She wasn't the full-time co-host. She was like a fill-in for Katie. Yeah. And like Mark Riley wasn't there yet. Josh McCuga wasn't there. Wow. It was just, me, Christian, Katie Sackhoff, Ellis, and Ken. And then a couple months in, I remember Riley and McCuga joined one night, and we're like, these guys are part of the show. I was like, oh, okay. Who are these guys? And then Tiffany became the host. Right. And then it just grew from there. Yeah. Wow.
Has it been crazy for you? Like, did you have any concept when it was going through this that it was gonna be what it became? Do you have any idea, or did you always sense from Christian that he had this kind of vision and he somehow could find a way to make it happen?
Not really, because this thing that we're doing right now was not something that I ever thought about when I went to this industry.
True.
It grew as we grew. Like Schmoes podcast was still a very early thing. YouTube wasn't quite the thing it is now. And I tell people that all the time, like, this is not something that was planned out. This was not something that was in the cards. It wasn't a thing. So it's been funny to watch it grow and change. Starting as, I just liked Mark Christian's reviews, and I want to talk. I miss talking movies with people. So that's the reason why I did it. I was like, oh, I would love to like talk movies with these guys. I feel like I could help them out. And that was So it started from a smallest little thing, and the way it grew and got crazier. And then Christian is always, you gotta give Christian a lot of credit. He's never fully satisfied. So he always wants that next thing. Yep. And not sometimes that next thing comes to fruition, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. But Christian always is looking for that next level of whatever he's working on. And it keeps you motivated because you're like, I used to get those Christian phone calls like, hey, I got this idea, and it's like, oh, I love the idea, or like, oh, I like that, but what about this? And it was always happening. It was always happening with Christian, and I think that's why everything has grown as great as it has.
Yeah, that's the thing. I get the text at 6 a.m. He knows I'm up at 6 a.m. because I'm an old man now, so I'm up at 6 a.m. and I'll get those dad texts from him because he's up with his daughters or whatever, and he's like, hey, I'm thinking about this, or I'm thinking about that, and it's always fun to have the back and forth. His mind is always going, and in that way, we're kind of similar in that way, because I'm never satisfied with what I have. I'm like, okay, what's next? You know what I'm saying? It's great to build, but now what's next? What's going to take it to the next level? And I've always appreciated that about him because, you can say he's never satisfied, and that's true, but it's only because he knows he's driven by something else. He's driven to do even more, to achieve even more. And so I got to give him, with you, I'm in the camp with you, got to give him credit because he has that impulse. And a lot of people just achieve one thing and then sell it off and they're done with it. You know what I'm saying? He's got more to do. Chris Taylor says, you are the secret ingredient. You were the secret ingredient for the Schmoes Know show. There you go.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris. And listen, every ingredient was what made that show so great. Ken, I remember, once Cops or Cody joined RB3, everyone that got added, it brought something different to the show. Like Makuga brought a whole different energy. I always thought myself as like, I'm one of the fans who somehow made it onto the show. That's because I was a fan who used to call in and ask questions to Mark and Christian before they even knew who I was. So I felt like, I'm one of these fans who kind of like broke in, and I was able to use some of my filmmaking skills and some of the stuff that I really enjoy and bring it to do stuff outside of the podcast. And I think that's, again, Ken brought the news. Everyone just brought such a great different ingredient. It made a really good shepherd's pie of movies. Yeah.
I don't disagree. It was successful for a lot of reasons. D-Train says, from a fellow Ecuadorian to another, go Ecuador.
Yes, Ecuador.
Out of love there. A lot of people throwing out stuff. Little Evil. Let's get JTE's side of the story. So we heard you tell how you were in. Ken was voted producer.
He was. They had a vote with Josh Makuga. It was almost Josh Makuga as the producer of Schmoes Know. And Ken was lucky enough to win it. And that's good for him. I think Makuga as producer would have been interesting. I'll tell you that.
For a number of reasons, I'm sure.
Yeah, but Pit Boss, man, can't go wrong with Pit Boss.
No, Ken's great. It said the trial of JT is one of the greatest things ever created for YouTube. That
was a lot of fun. Yeah.
People said the news.
Yes.
And then people love the Ambling Soul. Cheryl, she likes drunk movie news with JT and Ken. Yeah.
All right.
Do you miss those days, man? Do you miss being able to go back and that stuff, or have you kind of like that was your youth and now you're a little more settled as you're doing things over there in Wisconsin?
No, man, I missed the hell out of it. I wish we still did a Schmoes Know movie show. Man, I loved that show, man. I loved where it's changed so much. Doing the Collider, now Christian's doing his, it's its own network kind of now. Watching it go through all these changes is great, and every version is great for its own reason. But for me, the old school Schmoes Know show always holds a special place in my heart. And and then the Schmoedown, that's a whole nother thing that broke out of the Schmoedown, which I love Schmoedowns, but for whole different reasons. One of the main reasons is the great people it brought to Christian's, circle and just the Schmoedown circle. Like we met so many great people through the Schmoedown. It's been amazing. Yeah.
Agreed. So many great movie reviewers, so many great people, so many great people who want to be a part of, just like you, who reached out to Christian and were like, hey, do you need a PA? Do you need an assistant? Do you need anything? I want to be a part of it. And Christian, who is has a good eye for talent, brings people in, and they kind of give so much of themselves to make it work in whatever he's talking about. Certainly Schmoedown, I've seen so many people come in off the sidelines as fans in to help. Like PJ started out as a fan, and now he's in charge of all the questions. It's insane to see the progression of things. And I think at some point, we'll be producing the show at some point down the road. So it's no shock here to see that. Dwayne Burke, so many great people come off the sidelines. Alex Marzonia to be a part of this whole thing. So it's just incredible to watch. For sure.
Is.
Yeah,
I agree.
All right, let's see. Keep sending in your Streamlabs and Super Chats, people. Give some love, for God's sakes. We got a JT on the show. Send in some support. Send in some big support. Want to have a good night tonight on a Tuesday night. Another way you can come in and ask your questions is to come in live. If you're a $10 and above Outlaw Nation supporter, you get first access to come in live. The Discord, the channel, the link is put in the Discord channel for you to use to come in live and ask questions of me and JTE. Let me bring my producer on now, Sean Berto, to talk about how you can come on into the show a little bit later on as well. Sean, what's up, man? What's going on?
It's good. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah, good, man. Are you that green screen behind you? Are you ready to? Oh, man, you can go wherever you want. You can be wherever you want. I love it.
Ready for anything, JT. Ready for anything. So, Outlaw Nation, just like John said. So if you're part of the Discord and you're part of the Patreon, the link is in the Discord already, so you can hop right in. For everybody else in the live chat, the link will be going in maybe in the next couple of minutes to come in live and ask John and JT a question. Once you click on the link, it will bring you to StreamYards, and it will ask you to verify your headphones and your mic. Please try to have headphones, otherwise we could sometimes get a little echo, and sometimes that can be really disturbing to listen to. So it'll put you backstage John knows why.
Oh yeah.
He'll put you backstage, and then John can see you, and then he can bring you in at any time. Please try to have one question ready so we can get through as many people as we possibly can. And like John said, if you guys are watching the show afterwards, please drop a like and a comment as well.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate it. Good to see you. Please. Yeah, go ahead, man.
So JT, someone told me that you are Arnold and Sly fan. I don't know if that's true or not.
Listen, I'm a big Stallone fan. This cup was given to me by Bob Finstock.
Wow.
What else needs to be said?
Nice.
Yeah, I love Arnold, Van Damme, Seagal. I grew up with all those guys, but Stallone was always number one. I'll tell you why real quick.
Yeah.
Arnold is bigger than life, and that's what is great about him. But Stallone could be bigger in life, like in Rambo 2, but then he could play somebody a little more, kind of like your everyday man. He walks into a room, he could just be, a Vietnam vet, or he could be a guy who's put in a prison falsely, like in lockup. But the second Arnold walks in a room, it's like, I can't buy this man as a teacher. That's why Kindergarten Cop is so good, because this guy's not a teacher. I always like Stallone because he can play the really big action hero, but he can play the everyday guy also if you really need to. That's how he started. Rocky was the underdog everyday guy, and it wasn't until Rambo that he became this larger than life super action hero. And I love having both of those. Whereas Arnold, anytime he tried to play like an everyday guy, it didn't work. I was like, this guy, you see, Red Heat, he's this Russian with a flat top. Yeah. He's Mr. Universe, for the love of God. So I always like Sly a little more.
Well, I think one of the reasons why they put Arnold in those ridiculous situations is because it'd be like funny, like look at Arnold as a teacher, look at Arnold pregnant.
Exactly.
But my question is, if you could switch Arnold for Stallone in a movie, like put Sly in one of Arnold's movies and put Arnold in one of Sly's movies, what would you kind of do there?
That's a great question.
That's a really good question. Arnold into a Stallone movie. I mean,
he'd be terrible in First Blood.
I mean, listen, this is not that Arnold's not fantastic as a movie. Throw Stallone in Predator. Why? He's Rambo. Yeah. He's already Rambo. Yeah, it's Rambo versus the Alien. I could totally see that. So I wouldn't be stretching Stallone's skills too much, but I think he would have fit into that movie perfectly. Arnold in a Stallone movie?
Damn. Maybe Cobra. Yeah,
maybe Cobra, because Cobra is a bigger, larger than life character. Yeah. Like he's almost a cartoon. So I could definitely see Arnold as Cobra.
Crime is a disease, and I'm the cure. Yeah, I mean that's perfect.
That's a pretty good one. So let's go with those two.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a great question, though. I
could see Tango and Cash if you found the right Cash for him. Or was he Tango?
Well, I can see Kurt Russell playing off Arnold.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
cool. That's a great question, though. I never thought about that really.
That's why I asked it. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, guys, have a good one.
Much love, dude. Thanks, dude.
Hey, everybody.
All right, let's bring in Brennan. Brennan's been waiting to ask a question. What's up, Brennan?
Hello. Speaking of Schwarzenegger, I just saw the Terminator for the first time yesterday.
The first one?
And Predator for the first time today.
Wow.
My God. I mean, you're on a movie high that I could only dream of.
Tomorrow is Commando, I think.
No, I
take it back. RoboCop.
RoboCop is a perfect movie.
Yeah, neither of which I've seen.
Nice.
You know what? Arnold could have played RoboCop.
Yeah, I could see that. Absolutely.
To honor the law. Yeah. So my question is, sometimes for me, there's a difference between the greatest films I've ever seen and my favorite films.
Yeah.
Do you have a difference of yours?
Ooh, good question.
I mean, listen, Rocky IV is one of my favorite movies ever. But is it one of the greatest movies ever?
If I could change, you
Probably
could change.
Yeah. Rocky IV is one of the reasons I fell in love with movies, because that David versus Goliath, like those fights were so exciting. When I talk about movie high, it's a feeling you get. Watching Rocky IV as a kid and seeing that fight, the choreography, I mean, it's not realistic at all, but it's so entertaining, and it would just get me. So my dad would come home from work and he'd be like, "Are you watching Rocky IV again?" And I'm like, "Damn right I am. I love every montage." I do these you said earlier, John, you like my yearly videos. No Easy Way Out was one of the things that made me want to start editing music videos.
How
So
funny.
that movie had a huge impact on me. But yeah, listen, I was talking earlier. I watched The Last Dragon the other day. I love Last Dragon. Is it one of the best movies ever made? No. It's great, but there are movies that are both. Like Mad Max Fury Road is one of the best action movies ever made, and it is one of my favorite movies ever. So when they come together, it's amazing. But they're not always exclusive, that's for sure.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. All right, Brennan, anything else? Are you good?
That's it. Thank you.
All right, dude.
Thanks,
Great
man.
to see you, man.
Great question.
Good to see you too.
Thanks. I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, dude. It's like it's two different things. The ones you love to watch, like Top Gun. Look, by every measure, is not a Best Picture nominated. But Top Gun, again last night for about 45 minutes, I watched from the last 45 minutes of the movie. I watched from when Goose died all the way to the end of the movie, and I was just like, it still works for me. It still affects me. And the way it's shot, it's so well done. People don't give that film enough credit. That cinematography when they're on when they're doing any of the jets on the carriers, and all of that is so well done. The music is perfect. Everything, the fight sequences and the fighters is incredible. And then you have the back and forth with everybody going on. Plus the fucking sex scene is great. The shots of the golden hour shots they get as he's riding off on his motorcycle to go see her. All those things that he's able to capture in the film, Tony Scott, like they don't give him enough credit for this film.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, style or substance, I think some people say that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
No, a movie can put you in a mood. It could put you in a certain state of mind where if that's all it does, I think that's an accomplishment. Yeah. Top Gun ain't winning no Oscar, but I could literally put that movie on with the sound off and just enjoy it for the visuals alone. That's how amazing. I mean, every shot is like at sundown. It became like a Michael Bay kind of Michael Bay and Don Simpson. It almost became like their style. So I think Tony Scott, people always think Ridley Scott, I mean, he's maybe the more accomplished director when it comes to like film festivals. I mean, just film awards. But Tony Scott, a lot of times, was more successful when it came to like, his films as far as like box office. Yeah. I mean, I like Days of Thunder, man. Yeah.
That just came out on 4K. It's like $12 on Amazon on 4K.
I love it. I have that 4K and I watched it and I loved it.
Yeah. Does it look good? Okay.
It looks great. Best ever.
I mean, you could argue that Tony Scott arguably might have more hits than Ridley Scott.
Or like bigger ones, at least. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you got Top Gun. Beverly Hills Cop 2 did well. Days of Thunder, Last Boy Scout, people defend. Crimson Tide, people defend. True Romance, people like. Enemy of the State, people like. Man on Fire, people like. Deja Vu, Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, and Unstoppable before he took his own life. But like, that's a lot of hits because there's way more. Yeah, there are more misses than hits on Ridley Scott's resume, and on Tony Scott's resume, it feels like there's more hits. Yeah, True Romance, one of my favorites. I mean, I saw that movie in the theater, and I was like, I want to fall in love with a woman like that. When you're at that age, you're like that fatalistic. It was great.
Yeah, Ridley, a lot of his movies, like you think of Blade Runner and some of his other films, they didn't get appreciated until later. Yeah. Looking at the 80s, like Legend was not a big hit for Ridley Scott.
Right.
Black Rain with Michael Douglas was not a big hit.
Black Rain was fucking great, man.
These are movies I really like, but they were not received well.
Right.
Box office wise. Tony was really more successful. Outside of Alien was like his only really big hit in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
But Blade Runner obviously has grown to be, considered a masterpiece. Yeah. And a lot of his films, Ridley Scott, I think Gladiator, and even Hannibal are probably one of his bigger hits.
Right.
And then The Martian more recently, yeah. So, I mean, Ridley has a lot of movies that just didn't do great box office wise, where Tony was pretty solid when it came to box office. So
you knew what you were going to get with Tony. He'd occasionally fly out, occasionally go out on the fringes, but he knew what he was good at, and he was good at doing action.
Domino, and like his style changed. He started doing these like different film grades, different editing techniques, and he really he's way different than Ridley Scott. But their movies, both brothers, they all look amazing. They all look amazing.
I agree. AJ Lancaster, real quick, says put Arnold in Rhinestone and Stallone in Predator.
Win-win.
I don't think that's wrong.
Nothing's saving Rhinestone. I don't think you're Arnold to say that movie. It's not good.
I don't see Arnold singing in that either. Smithy, we're coming in live here. Smithy, are you in? What's up? What's the? Can we see? Hold on, let me see. Are you in? Nope. All right, something's wrong with this camera. We were talking earlier about the Schmoedown. You were mentioning it here earlier. We were talking, and we have a history in that Schmoedown, me and you, against each other. And also with this guy who's coming in live to join us. Oh,
yes.
Oh,
there he is.
Hey.
Oh, where's Matt Nose? Let's make it a party.
Nose is playing around, I think, somewhere.
He's busy. He's busy.
But, I wanted to bring in Jeff, and I was glad he found some time to hang out with us, man. I mean, we've never sat down and really talked about our matches. I mean, Jeff and I have had our back and forth, but the three of us have really never sat down and talked about these matches. And I guess I just wanted to hear from you guys. What was this experience like, whipping our asses 3 times? Well, at least beating us once, close, and then after that, completely embarrassing us. What was your what are your feelings now as you look at it in retrospect?
Go ahead, Jeff. Lead us off.
I mean, they were the greatest times of my life, really, right? Look, honestly, it was just seeing the disappointment. It was seeing the disappointment on your face that made it all worth it. But also, beating you is special because I know how brilliant you are, and the fact that we were able to squeak past you as often as we did, obviously spoke volumes.
Right.
I think anytime you're playing the Schmoedown, I'm a very competitive person. Rocha, you're very competitive. Jeff is, and I think that comes through. Yeah. Even though you're seeing our pre-show, post-show, we all really wanted to win every time we stepped onto that table. Maybe more so than the others. And I think early on, especially, I think some people come on to Schmoedown, like certain guests come on early, especially in the early days. Yeah. I don't think everyone was out for blood. I think it was like, oh, this is fun. Let's give this a try.
Right.
Because
Blueberry.
For me, it was like, I truly believe, like, I've been watching movies my whole life. I should be able to compete with anybody. So anytime I could pull off a win against anybody, I absolutely loved it. So, but again, because I knew you guys cared and you wanted to win as much as us, it just made that win so much better.
I mean, I the first time we played you guys, I thought for sure we had it in. Like, I was like, these guys, cumulative. There's no way they know more than me and you know. And
really,
it was so close in my head. I just didn't think you guys were going to be able to take it from us. I thought we'd have it in the end, because at the beginning of the Schmoedown, right? Those questions nowadays, would be like 1-pointers, right? But like at the time, they were good, tough questions to get. But you could get them if you were knowledgeable about film to a degree. You could get them. And I mean, Matt blew the Magnolia question. Yeah. That killed me. And then Jeff pulling that answer out of his ass.
There were some bad ones.
Yeah.
What, Robert Duvall?
Robert Duvall, man, sitting there talking to Jeff, like, I think I said James Caan, and I think you said Robert Duvall, and I was like, is it James Caan? Is it Robert Duvall?
It was in the yards.
Yeah. And I think to the last second, you were debating, Jeff, and which one you were going to say. And then I think you just went with Robert Duvall.
I don't think you knew what I was going to say.
I did it because I was like, we were arguing. Like, do you go with your gut? Do you go, or do you think it's this? Like, I'm like, go with your gut. Go with your gut. You're like, then I was like, I'm going to let Jeff say whatever he wants to say, and hopefully it's right. And then not knowing,
like every editor I've ever had.
Right. Yeah. Right. I think those were the two most genuine reactions in the Schmoedown, was you guys beating us for the belts because you guys didn't know if you had the right answer. And when I beat Dan, I didn't know that Dan had answered incorrectly. I had no clue. So those are the two most authentic reactions, I think, to winning a title that we've seen.
Best moments right there.
Yeah. When
those are the best moments when you don't know what person's going to say. Yeah. Some people know that they got it right, or some people know they get it wrong. But when you don't know, that's where even you have the same suspense as the audience.
Right.
And me and Jeff held the belts for almost a year. You don't know you're going to hold on to the belt for that long. Yeah. Like, you're just happy to finally get over the hump and win it. Now, I knew me and Jeff it was going to be tough to beat us, but to think we were going to go that long as champions, a year, I never would have thought that. But
he changed the course of history with one word, with one last name or one name. He changed the course of history.
That's what he's going to be remembered for. Actually, I heard that Variety actually changed their pre-written Duvall obituary.
Oh, really? Oh, don't die, brother.
That. Someone said, was it Dean Morgan says the only person missing here is Jane Fonda. Yeah, fuck you. Jane Fonda. Rocha knows first. Oh, yeah, that basketball game never happened. There were so many rumors. Me and Nost versus the Patriots. First,
I feel like I was afraid to play. Like
not until you fell on your face.
Until then,
basically both of you.
Yeah, I was ready to go like any time before that.
Yeah.
But then, I definitely had to accent that.
Yeah, Rocha's the one who can't admit that he was at no point ever ready to go.
I was ready from the beginning. I just twisted my knee after you'd messed your face up, and then by that point, the collider situation happened, and then Christian said they'd have to take out insurance and all this kind of stuff. And it was
really?
Yeah, that's why he said it didn't happen in the end. They would have to take out insurance in case we hurt each other or whatever.
Like my right shoulder, I couldn't lift my arm for like above my head for like months. Like it took almost over a year for me to start feeling normal again on my right shoulder. Wow. I haven't shot a basketball much since, but I've been itching to play. I might have to find some courts, see if I can still shoot. But if we were to play now, I would need like a few months just to get in shape, and quarantine has not helped. I've been playing a lot of NBA.
This game was always about me versus Nost.
Yeah.
Did you?
We played with Nost on Saturdays all the time.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
No, Nost is good.
Nost can play. When we were playing each other in the rematches, did you guys like look, we're just gonna fuck with Rocha or fuck with Nost? Like, what was your mentality going in when you guys were coming up to face us the second and third time? Because I mean, we earned our ways into those shots. Huh?
Divide and conquer. Yeah, if I could get like. If I like, because Nost is fairly unflappable, but if I could get you flappable, and then maybe a little angry at him for missing something, oh yeah, it was just glorious.
I'll be honest, like I never really thought much about my opponents when I played the Schmoedown, because you can't control what they know or what they don't know.
That's true.
For me, it was just about do your best to hit what you can. Draw your memories. So to me, it was more about just me getting comfortable, going out there, doing the best I can. I didn't really pay much attention to my opponents because, like, at the end of the day, I can't control it. I mean, the only strategy that I think me and Jeff always had, we always had them go first, I believe, right? We never went first.
On the wheel?
I can't remember if we always went first. We always went second. Which one was it, Jeff?
We liked going first. We liked the intimidation factor.
Yeah.
And we like,
but for Rocha,
everything on the wheels playable that way too.
Yeah.
I should have paid you Airbnb fees because I lived in your head, son.
No,
Jeff
was definitely more the smack talker than me.
Yeah, I know, and he's like that squirrely little jumpy kid who shows up at the court talking his mess, and you could smack him in the next week. So he frustrates the shit out of you because he's talking all that stuff. And I used to do all kinds of mental exercises before the matches because I didn't want to let him mess me up. And then something would happen. I mean, the Jane Fonda moment, that was the apex of it all, man. The spin again, then the Jane Fonda, just all of it in combination. That was it. I was like mentally finished after that. And I said to Christian, I think I said, like, we got to break this up, like top 10. We got to. And he's like, well, I'm doing this anarchy thing. I'm like, all right, put us in the mix then. Let's switch us around because I just couldn't go up against you guys again because I think the third time we played, you guys kicked the shit out of us. And then the fourth time, I thought for sure we were going to win that thing, and it just fell completely apart, man. Did you guys? What was it like watching us melt down in front of you? Were you guys just like, fuck it, we got this, we're done?
I'm just glad I was there to enjoy it with JT.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, after that first win, I think me and Jeff just kind of went to our level in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I don't know what was going on with you and Matt.
Yeah.
It just, it all comes down to the questions. It's the luck of the draw. I've gotten some questions where I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Who knows this? It's tough. I think, again, it comes down to can you complement each other well? And I think Jeff is stronger in some areas than I am, and I'm stronger in some areas than he is. And it's just about chemistry, really. Yeah, finding the right partner. Nost had some weaknesses sometimes where he would, forget questions. I thought, oh, that shouldn't be forgotten. Right. But it comes down to your life experience as a film goer. Like I've been watching movies my whole life. People always ask me, did you ever practice or study? I've never studied for a Schmoedown ever.
Wow.
I've never, I don't know how you would even go about it. Do you just pull up IMDb and go through stuff? Like, I don't know how you even go about it.
Yeah.
So for me, that's the thing is Bateman. Yeah. It's crazy. He's done a really good job. So it shows that it works.
He studies the categories. So if you were to name an actress or an actor who's not on the list of categories, I don't know that he would be able to compete. He only knows what's on the guide.
It's true.
Interesting.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was just like, listen, I don't need to study. My whole life has been my studying. This is the only thing I've really dedicated my memory to. So let's go. But there's times where I've missed questions, and I said, I bet if I studied that guy's filmography a little more, I would have gotten that.
Yeah.
I lost a match because of a Denzel question about the movie Out of Time.
Oh, yeah.
I saw once when it first came out, and I've never thought about that movie ever again. I've never revisited it, and I had a question.
Denzel.
yeah. And somebody was like, I think the question was like, who is the doctor in Out of Time? And one of the worst feelings ever in Schmoedown is when you get a question and you have no clue.
Oh, yeah. You
have to sit there like, I'm going to act like I'm thinking about it, like I might know, but I really have no clue. And that's one of those times where it's just like, I lost. It was like my last question.
Sure you gave a better performance in that moment than whoever played the doctor in Out of Time.
Probably, yeah. I'm trying to, was it James Woods maybe? I don't remember exactly what the answer was.
Sounds about right.
But again, I just, I don't know how you could study for these things unless you really have, like Jeff said, a specific category you really need to get into.
What's your enduring legacy, do you think, of you guys in the Schmoedown? Like, what do you do? Is this something that you guys ever talk about or think about or text each other about? Or is it just like, it was a great time for what it was, and then, boom, we've moved on?
JT, why don't you bring up the text that I sent you last night about our legacy?
Yeah. He just sent me a picture of Jesus at the Last Supper. It said, we're Jesus. And everyone else is just the other competitors. Go ahead.
You go.
I just think, the conversation comes up a lot. Who is the best team ever? I still think we've cemented ourselves as the best. You could say it's an era thing, but me and Jeff, I would put us against anybody. And I think there's a good chance we're going to win, or if it's not, it's going to be really close. Listen, we lost to Above the Line. And the third match was the Iron Man match. I kind of wish we just did a regular match because so much of the strategy gets taken out when it's Iron Man. Yeah. It's just about the questions. I think we could have won.
I agree. Like, if there was a team that people were going to say, oh, well, they were better than you, I guess I would give it to Above the Line. Like, if they had, like, I still think the Patriots had a better run than Above the Line did. But when people bring up the Shire Wolves, I'm like, get the hell out of here.
Wow. Why would you say that? They beat some pretty good teams. You say they don't,
Listen, they beat us. They're a very good team. But, like, if we played that game, I don't know, X times out of 100, we're going to win 70% of them for sure.
Wow.
100, like 70%.
Okay.
No question.
Fair. Is there any possibility you guys team up again down the road? I know Roxy was trying to put you guys on the same faction, but then eventually traded JTE. So is there a possibility down the road with you guys, or is this something that's kind of gone the way of the dodo?
Well, I mean, are they going to keep doing video Schmoedowns?
Yes, he is.
If never say never. I don't know. I don't know what the league is right now. It's all over the place. And depending on, I'm not in LA right now, so it'd have to be digital, and it'd have to be the right circumstances. And again, it could happen, but who knows? If not, though, I feel like we have secured our legacy as the greatest Schmoedown champions ever. Bam. And I can live with that.
It's fair to say.
What if I talked you into a charity match between the top 10 of the Patriots one more time for charity?
Oh, for charity, of course.
All right.
Anything for charity.
Because I want to beat Jeff one of these goddamn days. It's the one that haunts me forever. Like that I've never beat you, and one day we will find ourselves in the ring again. Because I beat JT. That wasn't a problem.
Yeah, I did not have a good performance at that live show. I said the 6th man, and it was the 6th day, and that kills me. And that one, because I got Arnold and Sly.
You did. I thought
it was over, man. And I did not perform well in the Arnold and Sly one. Like I got all the Sly ones, and I missed all the Arnold ones. Yeah. So I guess I'm definitely better when it comes to Sly than Arnold.
Kushner, or was it Kushner? You messed her name. I forget what her name.
No, it was the daughter in True Lies, Alicia Dushku.
That's it.
I said it wrong, and they did not give me the point.
They did not.
For once, I know who it is.
Kelly McGillis one was bad.
Yeah, it's just I hate how the pronunciation of a name. Like I know who the actress is. I can name you 6 other movies she's been in. I got her name close enough. Give me the point.
That's awesome. All right, Jeff.
Whoever lost on Mary. Go ahead.
No, whoever lost what?
Whoever lost on that Mary Elizabeth Mastro Antonio question. That was a tough one. That's a tough name.
Oh, Riley. I think Riley lost on that one for Color of Money.
I think you're right. Right.
See, I know her because, there's not that many Latina actresses who work, so you got to remember them when they work, and she was in Scarface. So it's like, boom, easy enough to remember. Some people don't have it. Some people don't have that click.
Every time I hear a question starting like who directed, I feel really good. I'm like, I know directors really well. Anytime they're like who played, sometimes I'm a little worried. Like, what is the name of the snake in Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark? That was one of the questions I lost on.
What?
And I was like, Reggie the snake was the snake. It was the pet snake in the airplane in the first Raiders. And I lost to Reggie. I was like, Reggie the snake, like who the hell remembers that? Like those are the kind of questions where I'm like, come on, it's not even an actor.
There's no question that you can ascertain the taste of the question makers from the movies that are consistently brought up on the Schmoedown and the movies that are consistently ignored.
Right. Well, when you first started out, JT, I noticed that your girlfriend would write down the names of the movies. Was that a study technique where you guys were looking at names, looking at these movies and kind of say, oh, these are the movies that are being asked about the most. So revisit these, look at these, study this. Because she was always writing stuff down, and I thought she was writing stuff down for you.
I think she was playing along, and that was her way without saying it. Because if we were sitting watching a match, we were like, basically they would ask the question, she'd write her answer down, and I would tell her if she was right or wrong. That's basically what was going on. So it was her way of like playing along without saying it, and hopefully spoiling the match.
Right. Okay.
It was just our way of playing along, because that's when you watch a Schmoedown, one of the best things for me, like watching the episodes, is playing along, seeing how I would do, and then you watch some of these matches, and you're like, how do you not know that? And it's like I should be in this match and kicking ass right now.
And then it's your turn, and you miss something.
And then you miss it. Exactly.
Yeah, right. Reggie the Snake, of course. Everyone
Reggie
knows
the Snake. I would have never known that. I still this day, I would never know that.
Tris Taylor says, "Jew Bear forever." LOL.
Listen. People gave me shit for that. It was Bear Jew. I just got the 2 words backwards. It's the same thing. He's the Bear Jew, Jew Bear. Same thing.
Diamonds or jewels? I don't know what to tell you. So this says JT on the Cinephiles for First Blood. That could be fun. Absolutely, actually. I would love to do
First
that,
Blood.
JT. Let's have a conversation with that at some point down the road if we do it on Cinephiles. Would love to have you as our guest. Can we bring in a couple people live, Jeff, or do you got to go?
No, I'm down to kick it, man. I thought you'd ask me about the singles tournament since I'm in the finals in 48 hours.
Well, let's do that. Yeah, let's talk about that. You've had a hell of a run here, Jeff. No one expected it. No one predicted it. Everyone thought you were going to be knocked out in the first round. And here you've done it. You once again, without studying a fucking thing, somehow have have finagled your way into the final. Incredible. Incredible. And this is a new batch of people asking questions. This isn't Skaliski anymore, yet somehow you're able to know enough to get yourself in there. How do you feel about going into this final?
I mean, listen, this guy, as you know, John,
Yes.
Collins, the guy's a beast. He's a monster.
He's impressive.
And he's got a hell of a run.
Yeah.
He's very impressive. He knows his stuff. You know, I've had a little bit of luck this run. I'm going to need a little bit of luck probably going forward. But I'm going to give him everything I got. I just think he's like a robot. We'll see.
Right. Yeah, he's a dime store Jesus. He's like somehow he's tapped into some holy connection, and he has been running through this tournament, crushing motherfuckers.
I don't know where Christian had found this guy.
I'll say that
he was built in movie trivia lab.
I have seen him miss a couple questions here and there that I thought were a little bit on the easy side. So again, it shows every player, no matter how strong, there's gonna be some weak spots here and there. But he has been very impressive, and I even tweeted him and said so. Like, I'm impressed. You're good. He's got what it takes.
You're good.
But Jeff is
he reminds me a lot of Oyama.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You took care, but you took care of Paul.
I took care of him just now, but that first time, I got beat. There wasn't a lot of tape on him. Wasn't quite sure where his weaknesses lie, and hopefully the wheel goes my way on Thursday.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough. I know. I mean, he TKO'd me. I've never been TKO'd in a singles match in my entire effing life. That was like a smack in the face. And I had to go back into, kind of like, dude, he shook my confidence. No lie. I mean, coming off the losses to Ethan and then losing the belts, which were tight matches, getting TKO'd was like, oh, crap. It's like in Rocky 3 or Rocky 4 when he gets that punch from Drago and he just kind of sits down, knocked out with the mouthpiece. That's what it felt like, basically. Have to get back up. It was the worst. For sure. Let's see. We got a couple things that have come through here. Canada Rock says, damn it, Jeff, if you only guessed Robert Duvall as usual during your title match with Oyama, you may have won that belt. I know it's been taped already, but I'm rooting for you on Thursday. Nice to see you again, JTE. There you go. Yeah, you could have pulled out Robert Duvall again there, but then you weren't ready for that match. I could tell in your eyes you weren't fucking ready. You weren't fucking ready. Paul tried to give you that match.
The Oyama match?
Yeah, you weren't ready.
I just think I was. You know what? That's what happens when you play in front of family. There's too many distractions. You're worried about. Has everybody got their seats and stuff? Is your girlfriend comfortable? No, you can't have that. You just gotta be focused on one thing.
Oh, speak of the devil. Paul Oyama is rolling up in here. He's like, "What's up, fellas?" Paul. What's up, Paul? Good to see you, Paul. Sean, send him the link. Maybe he wants to jump in for a couple of minutes. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, Tushka said, great seeing some of the Schmoedown greats together again. Are we going to get an episode of Sneider Swap Shop tonight? Yeah, are you getting Swap Shop tonight there, Jeff?
I actually, we'll wait until after the tournament to discuss any memorabilia. There may be memorabilia. Okay. There may be memorabilia from the tournament available.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
Let's bring in Alan Smithy. He's been waiting to talk to us. Smithy, what's going on?
What's up, Rocha and the fucking Patriots? How's it going?
What's up, man? You just came out of Top Gun, man.
That's right. Well, this is the alien. This is the Nostromo hat.
Oh, okay.
Hey, what's up, Sneider? How's it going? Did you miss me? I'm sure you've been dying to hang with me again.
I did.
Oh,
good
man.
To see you, dude.
Okay, there it was. It took a second.
He's got the lag. Be patient with him. He's got the lag right now. Jeff does so.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just want to see Jeff.
Yeah. You're lagging a little bit, but we're catching up.
I just want to see Jeff destroy the so-called dime store Jesus that you keep talking about. Rocha, I found a song called Dime Store Jesus. Who do you think sings this song?
Terry Bradshaw, man. Terry Bradshaw.
That's
right. Where do you think I get it from? What do you think I got it from?
I don't know. I found that out on the internet. But anyway, enough with you. I got JTE.
Yeah.
What's up, JTE? How's it going?
What's going on, man? Good.
Your legacy is on every single match. I see your smiling face, I think 6 times on every screen in the Schmoedown, and it's a nice feeling. But I got to ask you, What's up with Jericho coming for the JTE title? Have you heard about this stuff?
Listen, I mean, Jericho's got a big ego. Anytime he could try to take over someone's legacy, it's what he does. It's part of pro wrestling. But, you know, I got the history, man. I was there from the get-go. I mean,
that's right.
Jericho's great. You know, I don't go to WWE and ask to be, give me some of Jericho's legacy. Stay out of my ring, man.
Right. You should.
JT rule.
You should definitely DM Jericho and say, back off, punk.
I've learned my lesson after Roddy Piper. I won't be talking to wrestlers.
I would walk. I would leave the league if Christian ever changed the name.
Yeah, that would suck. I'm down.
There you go.
It's true.
And what's up, Sneider? Are you gonna take this punk out? I want to hear this, huh?
Dude, I think I can. Like, I have just been locked in. I think playing from home virtually has really helped my game. Roxy's been amazing as she was. You know, she got me over the hump against Irwin. So I think I like my chances, but the kid, there's no question that he's very, very talented.
Yeah. I have this feeling that Collins is unemployed and he lives in his mom's basement and he just sits at home all day watching movies. And it's like, that's an unfair advantage, man.
Well, with quarantine, everybody had that advantage.
Yeah.
I was like, technically, that's my job. I live upstairs and it's Dad's bedroom. But
That's cool. That's cool. That's just temporary, man. That's just temporary. Plus, I'm sure just kidding, Collins. I'm sure Collins is a wonderful guy, and I shouldn't rip on him too much. But anyway.
No, everyone says he's a nice guy. I've never had a conversation outside the Schmoedown with him, but everyone says he's a super nice guy. I just like giving him shit because nobody TKOs the fucking Outlaw. So the next time we play in 2021, I'm going to smoke that ass. So I'm just ready.
All right.
Yeah. Nobody TKOs me, man. Nobody TKOs me.
That's right. And you got any more time, or are you getting Oyama on here? If he's in the back, then let's let him on. But
I will. Oh, thanks for running my show, Smithy. Thanks so much. Anything else we can do for you?
Did you get my package, Rocha?
Oh, what?
Did you get my package?
I'm stacking everything that comes for my birthday right here because I'm doing a unboxing of all the gifts on Friday for the Schmoedown, for the patrons of the Outlaw Nation show. So if you want to send anything in, the list is out there for people to send stuff in. So I'm doing an unboxing.
It's just a quick subject change to I sent you a gift, man. But sorry for it.
All right, Smithy, anything else?
No, hey, it's good to meet you guys, and I want to see the Patriots back again someday, and I really would like to see Rocha playing against Sneider. That just sounds like a exhibition match for all time.
He won't ever beat me again. That's for sure. I'll tell you that right
you'll climb your way back to where I am, Rocha. Don't worry.
Oh man.
Oh wow. Interesting.
All right. I'm gonna leave you guys to it, but good to meet you guys.
Good to see you, man. Keep directing those films, brother. We got someone coming in from New Zealand. Malcolm, what's going on, dude? How are you?
Not much. Just doing good.
I know Peter Jackson when I see him, especially New Zealand. Come on, what is up, Peter?
Totally fair.
It's New Zealand. I put two and two together.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I get that all the time.
I got you.
But yeah, the question I do have: if the Patriots were to reunite and take on founding fathers, who do you think would win?
Ooh, interesting.
That's interesting. I mean, you got four of the best players ever, in my opinion, right there.
Thank you.
I feel good. I never will feel bad going to a match with Jeff. I'm always going to think we have a chance to win no matter what. I don't think I've ever gone to a match feeling like we're up against it. But yeah, I think it'd be a great match. Who would win? Again, comes down to the wheel, comes down to the questions, man. But there'll be not a lot of missed questions. I'll say that. It's going to be close.
I think that we would win because Dan Murrell has never beaten me, and he's never beaten anyone from the state of Arkansas before. So,
oh my God, Jesus Christ! I think you know what, I'll say this, and I don't mean this in any derogatory way towards Nos, but I think I'd feel more confident going in with Dan Murrell against.
Who would it?
That I did with right.
Who wouldn't feel more confident with Dan Murrell?
Nos never studied. He just he knew what he knew and he didn't know what he didn't know. And so for me, who was like a one of the first people to study for the Schmoedown. It was like frustrating at times to be in that situation, but I'd still blow it as well. You know, I mean, it was a Westerns question that led to the whole Jane Fonda debacle, and I should have known that right off the bat. You know, it was me doubting myself in a moment, putting too much pressure on it. Matt never had to do that for himself. Matt was always chill, and he'd get upset about a couple things, like I think the third time we played the Patriots, he was super pissed about that shit. And then when we played Action Army the first time, or Team Action, he was mad about it. But other than that, like you said, Matt was pretty unflappable. Dan, though, brings so much knowledge and gameplay to the table. So it's a strategy and messing with Jeff's head. That'd be great.
Dan's one of those players I always wanted to have that one-on-one match. I never got it. The only time I faced him was a free-for-all. There was only me, Bibiani, and Dan, and we went to sudden death, and Dan pulled out a really tough question. So, but Dan's one of those people I always wanted to take on one of those days. Because listen, he's one of the best.
Down for you, JT. I'm going to take it down.
Do it.
I just got to get there first.
Jesus Christ. If you face Dan, he's going to go through you like melted butter. You're insane. All right, Malcolm, any other question, or are you good?
Yeah, I mean, in honor of Halloween and all that, what are some of your favorite horror movies that you like to watch during Halloween?
Gentlemen?
All right. Well, I start with The Crow on October 30th because it's set on Devil's Night.
Devil's Night.
So that's where the weekend festivities begin. You got to watch Halloween on Halloween, and then I feel like you get like a free choice after those two. And I like to go with like Candyman or Child Play, the original. Yeah, those are my faves.
One of my Evil Dead 2 has always kind of been my go-to Halloween movie. It's fun. Sometimes, like I don't get scared in movies very often at all. So for me, I always kind of go towards the more meta, fun, kind of out there horror movies. So Evil Dead 2 has definitely always been in my rotation. I like to jump into some of the Nightmare on Elm Streets. 3 and 4 are like the ones I really kind of dig into. The first one obviously is great, but 3 is just so much fun. I like the fun Halloween movies, not so much the dread and scary. So those are the kind of ones I go for.
Yeah, I would say Halloween.
JT's a big softie.
Yeah.
Hey, I love a good horror movie, but I don't get scared really. So for me, I like Sam Raimi, what he does in that small budget of Evil Dead. The camera tricks and just the energy. The energy of Evil Dead puts me in a weird place. I want to be on Halloween. I don't think you get from a lot of the movies. Actually, you could say Peter Jackson, some of his earlier horror movies have a very similar feel.
Frighteners, that's for sure.
Yeah, Dead Alive, yeah.
I mean, I'd say, Session 9. I really enjoy that. Halloween.
Oh, wow.
I like the ones that kind of leave you fucking shaking afterwards, so those are those kinds of films that I tend to go to, which is why I don't watch horror that often, because I'm really selective about the horror I do watch, because I know it's going to fuck me up afterwards, so it's like those little ones that are I saw the new promo for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one that's coming out. That's a hell of an unsettling fucking promo.
They have another one coming out?
Yeah, they put one up yesterday about the mask of the face, and I was like, holy shit. Yeah, that'll never die, dude. That'll never. Texas, like the original Texas, that's a scary one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I recommended Session 9 to a friend that they watch that they watch it with their friends on Halloween. I've never heard the end of it to this day. They hated it.
They hated it? What?
I love Session 9, but they just did not get it.
That's ridiculous. Watch it at midnight by yourself. It'll fuck you up. That's for damn sure. All right, Malcolm. Thanks so much, dude. Appreciate you. Great to see you. All right. Enjoy directing the next Lord of the Rings movie, man. Much love. Let's bring in a former champion who happened to jump onto the stream here. Is Precious? Is it Precious? What is his nickname? I don't know. I come to call him that. Precious Paul Oyama.
Precious.
Wow.
Look at you.
Prime time, Paul Oyama, to you, John.
I'm sorry, prime time. Right. What are you doing with the mustache?
He's nothing to me now. He's not anymore.
I can barely hear you. Can you turn yourself up? We can barely hear you, bro.
Yeah, let me see. Let me just make sure I have the right microphone.
St. Louis Blues fan? What is it? Is it a
Talk
St. Louis
louder.
Hello? Yeah, is my louder now? Is that good?
A little bit, but not much.
Wow, what's weird? But yeah, my mom's from St. Louis, so yeah.
I just want to know if Oyama ever used the Schmoedown to get a date.
To get a date?
With who?
Yeah, in Hawaii. Are you ever like, hey, ladies?
Former champion here.
That's not a successful tactic. No. Absolutely not. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. How are you? Look at that mustache. Good. What are you doing there? What are you trying to do with that mustache?
Honestly, it started by accident. I used an electric razor and it ran out of battery one time when I was shaving. I was like, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna roll with this setup and see where it goes. And here we are a couple weeks later, and I guess I still have it. I don't know. We'll see if it lasts much longer.
I respect it. Is it the influence of Lon? Because he's got all that facial hair, he's got all that beard.
I don't know. On that much credit. I don't know if he has influence over. I mean, he might be under the influence, but I don't know if he has. Much of
you definitely don't want to be crediting your look to Lon.
Well, listen, Paul. I mean, Jeff brought something up here, and JT kind of echoed it a little bit. I mean, this Collins kid is no joke now. I mean, he has got people in his wake. It's very reminiscent of your run. It's very reminiscent of Ethan's run. This is, coming in as a rookie, completely leaving some of the greats in his wake. What's your feeling? I mean, I know you guys, Jeff did get you in the tournament, but you have to watch from the outside. Do you feel like this isn't the second coming of you, a second coming of Ethan, or is this like an even stronger model than you two?
Well, I think when you look at the way he's playing, he's actually playing better than I did in my run. He's like not missing. He's missing almost no questions. He's like hitting like 95% accuracy or something in the matches. It's like
that's
an
what
insane number. Wow. And he's beating people like you, people like Lon, like people like Brendan. Like it's. I mean, I guess I had sort of a similar run when you look back on it now, but at the time it didn't seem that crazy. Whereas right at the gate, he's playing all these heavy hitters. But it's crazy because in the fan leagues, he wasn't dominant. Like. He was honestly like a very solid, very good player, but he's never like this force where everyone was like terrified to play him. He sort of like reworked himself, I think, in the time between his time there and when he got signed to the Schmoedown. So he's like a different player totally from when he started back then. It's a weird to see this whole transformation just because I never expected him to be this good, to be honest. I knew he was going to be good, but I did not expect this.
So it sounds like you're saying someone gave him the answers to the questions in the documents. Is that what you're trying? Is that what you're?
If you want to imply that on your show, that is okay. I will not co-sign.
What do you say, JT?
Crazy.
Not toot my own horn here, but early in the Schmoedown days, anytime a player came on and just dominated, Christian would put me against them for some reason, and I would beat them. Willem Bibiani came into the league, didn't miss a question. He was called the Beast, and I beat him.
Yeah.
And then Drew McGueedy came in. Everyone's like, this is the next guy.
JT,
and I beat him.
That was epic. That was how many rounds? How many sudden death rounds was that?
Why didn't you play this season?
Yeah, why didn't you
I want the truth, JT. Why didn't you play this season?
I got drafted, and I was never called upon.
Wow.
I think well, also my manager left halfway through the season. Robert Burnett left.
Oh, right.
So, and I think did Ken take over?
No, you were drafted by us.
Yeah, but then I got traded. I got traded.
Yeah.
Then I got traded.
Did she talk to you about it before she traded you, or was it just?
Yeah, no, she told me before. Okay. And I totally understand. Listen, the man
didn't tell me though. I'm the LeBron. No. I need to be consulted.
I agree. She should have talked to you.
Is Roxy David Blatt? Is that what's
going on? I guess so. Here's the thing. Like, especially when I first got drafted, I was planning on visiting LA once or twice this year.
Yeah.
And with the coronavirus, everything, it kind of was like, that's not going to happen. But then you guys started doing digital matches. So I was like, hey, listen, I could be here in front of my camera and fight anybody. Right. So, but my managers never called upon me. So what can I say, man?
Yeah. And there were rumors.
Out of sight, out of mind, unfortunately.
There were rumors that there was going to be a Boston live event, and you two, there were rumors that the Patriots going to be unveiled either as in a charity match or an exhibition match or something, but there were rumors that you guys were going to play. Was that, how far along was that conversation, honestly, to happening?
I think there were talks of it happening during the summer, but once March happened and everything went down,
we'd already filmed a promo for Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts, yeah. East Coast.
Dunkin'.
But yeah, so again,
I'm gonna go.
I think Ken's my manager right now, I believe.
I think so, yeah. The Droogs.
So, and I don't know, with the tournaments and everything already started, I'm just here. Listen, man, I'm, if as long as it's digital, I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm
shocked Ken didn't put you in the tournament, in the singles tournament. I would have totally put JT in the singles tournament.
I don't think he knew.
Legacy alone.
I'm starting to think he didn't know I was even available. So I think it was a matter of not knowing.
It's because you voted for Makuga way back when for producer over him. So he's never.
No way. Ken knows I vote for him.
Paul, I mean, you are. I mean, you're kind of reborn. It seems like with Lon in this final exam team. I mean, how do you feel as because you've got the Patriots here on the show with us here, but like, how do you feel about your pairing with Lon? What is it like? How has it brought out the best in you? And how do you feel about playing with him?
Well, I think it's one of those rare teams that it's a total contrast. It's like young and old, and we're very different in terms of our tastes and stuff too. So I think that putting us together just makes sense, and that's kind of what Winston did, obviously, at the draft. The Patriots were kind of a different case. Like, they almost are pretty similar, I would say.
He just called Lon old.
It didn't matter.
He called Lon old.
Lon will readily admit to you that. But yeah, the thing about the Patriots that's interesting is I think that, like I said, they're very similar players, but they were just good and it didn't matter. Like, they were good enough to win the matches anyway. Like, there obviously were certain, parts of their game that maybe people weren't zeroed in on at the time, I think, and it was probably hard to exploit because they just would get the whatever category and run through it in round two. But it's a different team landscape now, so you kind of have to be built a little different as a team. Like a team like you and Dan, like if you were a team like a couple years ago, like you guys would have had the titles probably for a year and a half, 2 years.
That's fair.
Like, that's a totally different thing. So the league is just shaped into something totally different, but it's kind of exciting. It's a new challenge to have like honestly 6 super teams. It's not even 1 or 2 anymore. It's every team you play feels like a super team.
Yeah. I mean, you've been watching some of these matches, JT. Do you feel the same way? That is that the situation there too? Was you watching it?
Yeah, it's I was teammates with Lon right before my accident, and we were the Evil Geniuses.
That's right.
And I feel like we just started and never. I think we could have done really well. And part of me is always going to wonder how great we could have been if I didn't get hurt and we were able to go into the tournament. Watching some of these matches, I'm impressed with certain individuals. But I like you said, Oyama, the old and the young, that is a good dynamic to have because I feel like there's just certain things you're going to be into that maybe Lon's not into, and that's going to help you guys a lot. Like me and Lon were teammates.
There's no way Lon's into young adult. There's no way.
Exactly.
You're not even into the movie Young Adult. But
yeah. The movie Young Adult's good.
I feel like I'm lagging. I'm just going to sign off, but thank you for having me.
Okay. All right, Jeff. Thanks for coming in, brother, man.
Later, brother.
Much love, man.
Good seeing you, man.
Good to see you. Later, Paul. Later, Josh.
But yeah, watching these groups, there are a lot of strong teams out there. There's times where I watch a team, I'm like, that guy's carrying the team. And those are the teams that they could lose because if that one person has a bad day and doesn't live up to his partner's abilities, they could lose. But you and Lon's a pretty interesting team. I'm curious to see how you guys do.
I think it's gone well so far. I mean, we obviously ran into the big speed bump in our last match against, the team that is currently, where they're at now. So I don't feel quite as bad about how that went necessarily. I wish we would have played better. But I think the team tournament is like a chance for us to prove ourselves as sort of seem to be taken really seriously. Like it was feeling like we were being taken seriously, and then we kind of got knocked back down a little bit. So this would be nice to test ourselves in.
I think anyone who doesn't take you all seriously is crazy. You guys have really proven yourselves, and that Shazam match could have gone either way. Just kind of the breaks kind of fell their way, and just like the breaks fell. Huh? You didn't feel like okay. Well, and the breaks fell your way against Rachel and Ben. So it was like it's that kind of thing, right? Where it's just like sometimes the game, for whatever reason, falls in your lap, and it's like it's yours to take, if you want it. And I've been in those matches. I've been on the other end of those matches. It's the worst. So yeah, I totally get that. But anybody who doesn't take you guys seriously is crazy because this teams tournament is just chock full of great teams and
we
chock
might play
full
you
of,
guys in the second round of the tournament.
that's
Like,
possible too.
That is the second round match is crazy. Like,
Yeah, I know. For us, for us too. I was like, what?
Like
We're already playing
match almost in some years.
right? Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I don't look past anybody in this game is crazy, and you never know what it's going to show you. So I've been like, because I got my butt kicked. I just was like, fuck it, let's go, Craig Barbarian. Let's create study sheets and let's start diving into this shit. And at least I'll have given 100% of my effort. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I could walk away from the loss being like, you know what? I gave it all I got. And sometimes I haven't felt that way in losses, and it haunts me, And so I hate that kind of thing. So but we got to get past whoever the winner of the play-in games is first to see if we qualify. Every team is tough. Absolutely. Have you been pushing to get back in though, JT? Like it feels like you're kind of not stressing too hard about it.
No, like again, there's so much going on right now with everything outside of the tournament.
Yeah, true.
For me, it's like, especially during the summer, I was like, let them do their thing. If I get called upon, great. Mm-hmm. But if this continues, if they continue to do some digital matches into the next year, because I know he's gonna have a mix. I think he's eventually, I don't know when, but they're gonna get back to in studio matches eventually.
Yeah, right.
And I don't know if he's gonna completely close down this whole digital matches or if that's something that's gonna stick around. So it really kind of is up to that.
He said he wants to like sort of keep like the digital thing around just for like people who are having trouble like traveling, because obviously even when they're allowed to be back in studio, like flying and traveling on that scale might not be the best idea either. So I think that's like at least Christian's sort of hinted that that's like a door that might be open a little bit, at least a little bit.
It saves money if nothing else.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I really like watching them go from live to digital. I like having the coaches come in and being more part of the match.
Yeah.
And like having that kind of like almost like breaks. It's almost like going to your corner after a round. You're just like, you got your cut man, you got your manager there telling you do this, do that. And the fact that the manager could be there a little bit more, it brings a really interesting wrinkle to the matches. So yeah, listen, I'm game. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm ready to go.
I think you should be in these things, man. Paul, what a quick, he talks about managers, JTs. We got to wrap up here in the next 5-10 minutes, but like you talk about this idea of managers, how essential has Winston been as your manager, and how essential has this faction been in getting like everybody ready for whatever matches they're in?
Well, I think everybody's really been part and parcel with our success. I think that like something people might not realize is the level of involvement that every player and every part of our faction has. Like, we'll have these practice matches, and Frank Moran and Sean Gerber are showing up who like don't have matches for the rest of the year, and they're still coming, helping me, Lon, Liz, and everyone else prepare for their matches. Andrew is really great hands-on, but Winston is so good at he organizes all this stuff, and he puts in so much time to us, and it really feels like he's devoting his effort, which kind of makes us want to put in more effort of our own. It kind of fosters that positive reinforcement of everyone wanting to pitch in and feeling like we're contributing to something that's bigger than ourselves. So I think like that environment he's created is so amazing, because it's taken something and it's really brought us together, and it feels like a family that's all trying to help each other succeed. And that's why I think so many people in our faction have been, in a better place this year than maybe they were last year, is because they have that support system. Someone like Liz, who didn't have a manager last year.
Right. Liz.
Has been massive for her. Like, that's such a key to her success, I think, is having someone in her corner to sort of talk her a little bit through it. And I think that all of us have benefited from each other in a way that, like, just on our own, it wouldn't be the same thing. It would be, it feels so much better. Like when Liz wins, it feels like a victory for me, even though I didn't play in the match. So it's like this really cool interactive thing of everyone is sort of the symbiotic part of this entire whole. So, we help each other grow and get better. And it just feels good when we all do well.
Yeah. And, what are some of the categories do you think Lon is not good in? Do you think, just in case we face you guys down the road, any things you think we should focus?
I mean, I think it's pretty well publicized what Lon is and isn't good in. But it really varies, too. Like, there are categories that Lon could spin one day and get 8 for 8, one day get, like...
I know, that's the crazy thing about it. He's such an X factor.
Yeah, you see how he did against Collins, like something like horror. I would trust Lon to take horror 10 times out of 10, and that just happened to be one of these weird days where questions were here or there. Yeah. But I think that it's not necessarily that there's anything he's terrible at, but I think there's always gauges of like I feel 80% confident about this, but maybe 60 about this, where I feel like ours just offset really well. So we're like the stuff he feels the most confident in, maybe I don't feel quite as confident in. So it's really a lot of overlap. It's not like filling huge gaps, but it's mostly like elevating what is sort of like our sort of floor to be a little higher than it would be otherwise. That's kind of like the good.
Right on. Do you like playing virtual or on camera? On camera.
I think both. I like both. I love the atmosphere of what in the studio. Like it's great just being around everyone and you can hang out afterwards. And it has that different atmosphere. But I think that being at home is nice too. You have a little more time. It's easier to regiment your schedule, especially for me. Like I'm not having to travel and plan out. Oh, I'm going to be staying here, so I fly in on this day, and I have to get this much sleep and get to the studio. So I think that both of them have pros and cons. The one thing about teams matches in digital is I kind of don't like how much information is made public, stuff that would never otherwise be public. You know, like
you mean in conversations?
Conferring in round 2 about like whether you want to keep a slice or even when you're answering questions. That stuff is like a little frustrating because then it sort of opens the door to other teams finding out, oh, maybe this person doesn't know this, and it gives a lot of information out there that people wouldn't have. That's I guess the big frustration. But I don't know. I think I enjoy both. I just love playing the game. So like whatever it takes to play it, I'm just gonna do that.
It's fun to watch.
Pros and cons. It's definitely more exciting though to win in the studio because it's this big, huge rush and relief, and you hear sort of the outcry from the crowd. So I like to do both. I almost would like to have some sort of balance of like, oh, I do this many matches. Right. I think it'd be fun to kind of do a little bit.
Yeah.
So I gotta give a lot of credit to them. They really did a great job of carrying it over.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing. You got to give Christian credit when he initially resisted the idea, and I know from behind the scenes conversations we had, he wasn't sure about doing the virtual thing. And, there had been that Inner Geekdom tournament that it was initially scheduled, and then he canceled it. And then they did it anyway on Twitch with Star Wars and the IG. And it just kind of revitalized the game, and everybody got back into it because they were desperate for the content, desperate for the matches, and making it work in teams, making it work in singles. It's been going along, and there's only been a couple of complaints about lags or people claiming they're cheating because you can't see the hands, that kind of bullshit. But other than that, it's been, I think, a pretty rip roaring success for him and how he's done it. So
as it goes on, it's only going to get better. As you get more used to sort of doing this, everyone's going to be more comfortable. People are going to, they're going to be more comfortable with their hands on screen, so it's not any sort of controversy about.
Yeah, that was weird for me with Ethan. I mean, I was like, because this is how I play, and I would just feel like this or be down here, and I was like, what the fuck?
Playing fan leagues where I have to that's like such a rule where you have to have your hands up. So I'm just my hands being like this or whatever. Like it's not very comfortable for me just because
I don't know. What do they think you're looking at? I know, like what are you doing with your hands off? I mean, if I'm looking at my phone like this, you can obviously. I mean, I don't know what you think you can doing.
See my hands. I imagine you can see my arms moving if I'm doing anything.
Just look straight and pay attention. And I don't know what I could be doing.
There's no controversy. No one can question anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Just remove that factor from it, which I think.
Yeah, and I'd never played virtual. I'd never played in the fans league. So, but I was getting like after the JTE, I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. After the Ethan match, people were like, oh, he's looking off camera. I was like, yeah, I was looking at my girlfriend in the other room because Christian said she could be in the living room supporting me from the living room. So I was just doing what I would normally do in a match. So it just was really weird but as a first match. And then eventually I figured it out. And then, of course, with corruption, a couple of times my hand went down and they were like, so it was just like, okay, never mind. So
give a little more respect to the players. Like nobody wants to win that way.
Especially those of us who've been doing it for such a fucking long time. You think we're going to tarnish the fucking game? Ugh.
Yeah, seriously.
Anyway. All right. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you stopping in, man. Thank you so much. Real quick, your thoughts on the Smets news. Did you hear about that? Did you guys hear about that, JT, as well? About Kevin? Any thoughts? Real quick. So many people are putting hashtag Smash Cancer in here, and maybe that's a charity match we could do for him. It could be a lot of fun there, JT. But like, what did you guys think of this news? What's your reaction to the news? How do you feel about all of this?
Gonna go ahead, JT. You go first.
I mean, listen, it's horrible news. Yeah. I give Kevin a lot of respect. I've only met him a few times backstage. Yeah. But for him to come out, share that news, and not only just share it, but to get the message out there to like, hey, maybe go get checked out. Here's some of the warning signs, some of the symptoms. Yeah. Made me want to like hit my doctor up and be like, maybe it's time for me to get a checkup or something because it's really eye opening, and I just think it was really brave of him to come out and not just share that, but really to get the information out there and give other people hey, this could be happening to you.
Right.
Here's some of the symptoms. He's using the platform the best he can, and I wish him all the luck. Unfortunately, we've had these kind of this kind of diagnosis in the Schmoedown community before.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it's
Karen.
Karen. So all we can do is pray and support him, and I'm 100% confident he's gonna kick some ass.
Yeah. Paul.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kevin is like one of my great friends in the entire Schmoedown. Like he's someone that I stayed at his house many times. Like when I would first come play all my matches, that's who I would go to, and I spend almost like more time with him than almost anybody else. And I thought it was really brave of him to go public with it. He'd known about it for a little bit. I didn't know if he would tell a lot of people because he told some people privately, of course.
Yeah.
People were sort of a little closer to him, but. I mean, if there's anybody that's built to beat something like cancer, it's Kevin Smets. The way that he treats his body, the way that he takes it so seriously, and he has those things to fight for. He has a wife and a daughter, and those things mean something to him. And I think that those are going to be really important forces for him to galvanize sort of his internal efforts. And I just all my thoughts and stuff are with Kevin. I want to support him in any way that I can, and he's such a great ambassador for the community and for the sport. He's always had positive interactions with fans, players, everyone else involved. Like. He is sort of the bastion of what we want someone in the Schmoedown to be. So I just know that everyone's going to be supporting him as much as possible, just because he's so beloved by everybody, and with good reason. And I know that he's going to do everything he can to battle this, and I think he's going to come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, I know when we talked before he went in for the colonoscopy, because I've had 3 of them, 3 or 4, I think, since I was 30 years old, because I've had gastrointestinal issues my whole life. So it's like you kind of have to accept that when it's starting to happen in the signs. And so when we just randomly having the conversation about Black Panther, and he mentioned it and we were texting, and I was just like, oh yeah. He goes, I'm going in. What should I be aware of? And I'm like, oh yeah, the worst part is just preparation. And then the surgery itself is over like that. And so if he can, and he found out, and sadly, this is the result, and it can happen sometimes. So I hope it encourages people, like you said, JT. I hope it motivates people to go, because guys need to get over that shit about the doctor. We really do, man, because too many people die and too many good people die because they don't want to go to the doctor and find out the truth. They don't want to deal with the issues of getting rid. But the cancer is so much worse than a day or two of having to shit your brains out and having a pole go up your ass. Like it's not or a rubber hose. It's not that big of a deal. You're not even awake for the procedure. You're totally out for it. So it's like, that's way better for you than what you'll deal with if you let it go undiagnosed or don't check it or what have you. So hopefully, and I love that with the message you released today, that hopefully he motivates somebody out there or some people out there who were hesitating about it to go into the doctor and get seen and do it as for no other reason, but at least as a precaution to make sure they don't have anything like that. Because it's a terrible way to go. If you read anybody's experience with colorectal cancer, it's a horrible experience, and so it's one of the worst ways you can go. And it's very much a predominantly male diagnosis, so it's something that men have to get over to get through this thing and be aware of it for themselves. So hopefully Kevin, and I love that hashtag Smash Cancer. I hope Kevin is an ambassador for this and he comes through this. And I know he's going to fight like hell to come through this for so many reasons, as you pointed out, Paul. But hopefully he's a symbolic for this community for more than just the titles, more than just his abilities as a player, but also as a human being in this world. So I look forward to it, and I hope it goes out. So yeah, it's much love to him for sure. Okay. All right, Paul, thanks so much again, man, for stopping in, dude. It's always good to see you, brother, man. And I'm definitely going to have you. Yeah. I'll definitely have you on the show solo coming up very soon, my man.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Just let me know. I'm
absolutely.
Ready, so.
Much love, dude. Peace.
Absolutely. Have a good one, guys. Thanks.
Take care. All right, that was Paul there. JT, real quick, we're some couple comments, and then we'll roll out of here, brother. Thanks for sticking around as long as you have.
No problem. Let's do it.
Let me put your thing up here. Okay, let me see what we got. Okay, are you still upset? Mark Rylance winning over Stallone. Still upset about this?
Yeah, it's bullcrap. I actually rewatched Bridge of Spies earlier this year just because it's Spielberg, it's Hanks. I actually really like The Post much more than I did Bridge of Spies, the one with Meryl Streep. I thought that was a better film. And I like Bridge of Spies, but I really don't. I like Mark Rylance. I really liked him in Trial of Chicago 7.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
When I watch Bridge of Spies, he's not even in it that much. He's really not in it much. And he's kind of one note, but he plays that note really well. And for what Stallone did, there's a scene where Stallone breaks down, and to me, nothing Rylance does reaches that level of emotion. So I hope I'm not just being a biased Stallone fan. I really do think Stallone should have won that.
I 1,000% agree with you. I know that scene you're talking about is in the doctor's office when he starts talking about Adrian's cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, man. That scene is so beautiful. And you're just like, oh my God. How can you not give it for him? And the same way I felt about The Wrestler. Like Mickey Rourke deserved that Oscar over Sean Penn for Milk. And it's this kind of thing where the Academy goes, oh, we don't want to give it to these guys who are, who are troublesome or had pasts and whatever. Let's give it to the safer ones, even though Sean Penn had his own past, but he was playing a gay icon. And in this situation, Mark Rylance in Bridge of Spies in a Spielberg movie. Yeah.
I get what you're saying with Mickey Rourke, but I have a hard time tearing down that Milk performance because he was really great in it.
He was. Yeah.
But I watched this Rylance performance and there's nothing really there for me. It's good. It's solid. There's nothing to me that screams give this guy an Oscar.
Yeah.
And it's not just about screen time. Jack Nicholson, A Few Good Men. He's barely in a movie and he's a freaking knockout. Right. You understand why he get nominated. Right. I watched Rylance and Bridge of Spies and I'm just like, yeah, okay. I don't know how this got even a nomination, honestly.
It's like Anthony Hopkins. He's on screen for 9 minutes. He won Best Actor. Yeah. It's just sometimes it's about what you do with the time you have on the screen. I felt that way about Alan Arkin. There is nothing Alan Arkin does in Little Miss Sunshine that he hasn't done in 500 other movies. I thought Eddie was incredible in Dreamgirls. I thought Eddie should have won. Just that scene when he's breaking down at the end and he's just completely irrelevant. That's real shit, man.
Part of it is just Hollywood behind the scenes stuff. Spielberg was like, I'm not leaving tonight without at least one Oscar. And he's like, if you're not going to give it to me, he told all his friends, give it to Rylance,
Vote for my friends.
There was an audible gasp when he got announced as the winner, by the way. Yeah. Everyone thought Stallone was going to win.
He'd won the Golden Globe. It seemed he was on course for it, man. It was bullshit. Yeah. So mad.
Yes.
Canada Rock says fourth rounders get TKO'd all the time, Rocha. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. Alan Smithy donated to Streamlabs. Said, thanks again, Rocha. Glad to meet JTE and hang with Sneider one more time. Have fun, everyone. Thanks, Alan. Yeah. And then Sean Barreto donated. Said, Outlaw Nation, here to support. Oh, thanks, Sean. That's a very kind donation. Jesus, Sean. Thank you. So incredibly kind. All right. We have one more thing, and that's Royko. Canada Rock's here waiting to come in. What's up, dude? What kind of trouble are you into now? One question. That's all you get. What's up?
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, quick question. So I just rewatched the Patriots versus Schmoedown. And to me, that's one of the best matches.
Oh, yeah.
Was that your toughest match, JTE? Because it was close.
Good question.
That went to sudden death. And and
you won it. Congrats.
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber, which I will say this, in that moment, I thought everyone was going to have it written down. I love that movie, Dumb and Dumber. I remember, to me, our pets' heads are falling off. To me, that is a very quotable scene from Dumb and Dumber. So when I wrote it down, I was like, oh, thank God I remember this because I think everyone's going to have it. And as I saw everybody reveal their answer, I was like, nobody else got that. I was shocked. So that was a tough win. And sometimes you're surprised the questions that you win on because you're like, holy crap, I thought, but what to you might be something that is of course, could be super hard to somebody else. And it really comes down to your life experience of movies and which ones you really watched over and over and over again and connected with. I said this earlier, I lost a match because I didn't know the pet snake name was Reggie in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Mark Riley, and you knew it. Mark Riley off camera knew it, and that's just the difference between he grew up knowing every single thing about that movie, and I didn't, obviously. So it really comes down to the movies and your life experiences with those movies.
Yeah, agreed. Same thing.
So I can't wait for you to come back. I was surprised you didn't come back with this digital era. Because it was suited for you being in Wisconsin.
I know. I'm convinced the managers forgot about. I said out of sight, out of mind. I'll have to start bugging them more with text messages and be like, "Where? I'm on the bench, coach. Throw me in."
That's the way it goes.
All right. Well, I hope you make it back soon. So
thanks, buddy.
Anyway, thanks, Rocha.
Thanks, Rico. We're doing that debate on Thursday night. Hope you can join us, dude. We're going to cover it on Impolite Truths.
There's a debate? What
are you talking about?
I thought it got canceled, or is this the? This is the third one.
This is the third one. Yeah, second one got
canceled.
Yeah,
I'll be there. Oh God, I don't want to watch it.
I think they're gonna cut off mics this time.
Yeah, the cut off.
God,
it's gonna be.
This should be. I don't. You know what? Right now, let's do over under 30% that Trump doesn't make it to the end.
Ooh,
he leaves.
He stormed out of a 60 minutes.
Stormed out because 60 minutes. That's why I'm asking.
Right, but people think he stormed out to kind of distract from that story in the New York Times about how he has a bank account in China. He has an open bank account in China. The New York Times just released the report about an hour or 2 hours before we came on to do Outlaw Nation Show.
Oh, geez.
They thought he did this whole thing with Leslie Starr. Some people are speculating that he did that to distract from this news story coming out. So, yeah.
Oh, I've been out all day, so I got to read that.
Yeah, read that.
Yeah. So would you think he'll storm out?
Yes. I think he won't finish the debate.
All right.
What about you, JT? You think he'll finish the debate?
I hope he leaves. I'll be hoping he does. Just let Biden have like the last half hour. Yeah,
they should totally do that. Yeah, they should totally.
I don't think Trump will leave. He loves nothing that man loves more than being in front of the camera.
That's true. That's a fair point.
So he's got to enjoy his audience as long as he can. As long as he can.
That's true. All right, Rico. Good to see you, man.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later.
Take care, brother. All right, man. That's been it for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us here on the Outlaw Nation Show. I want to let JTE go here. Joshua, what have you got to promote? And thank you so much for taking the time, JT. It's been too long. It was great catching up with you, hearing more of the backstory with how you got into everything and how you got into Schmoedown and how you got into the Schmoes Know universe. So thanks for taking the time, brother.
Thanks for the invite, man. It's great. I have a lot of time in my hands, just like everybody else. So anytime I can fill a few hours in by talking movies, talking with friends, and talking to everyone watching, it's all gravy for me, man. I just love being able to talk to people. That's why I first got into the Schmo, is because I love talking movies with like-minded people who love cinema, and that's why I started my YouTube channel. Most people I don't think care about what I have to say about a movie, but it gives me an opportunity to have some conversation with people about the thing I love the most, and that's what we're all here for, man.
Right on, man. One last question from D-Train. He said, is AI the most underrated Spielberg movie of all time? Honestly, it deserves a lot more attention. I don't agree. Do you agree?
I don't think it's his most underrated. I think I enjoy aspects of it, but here's the problem. It was a Stanley Kubrick film.
Yes. And
Spielberg made it half a Spielberg film and half a Kubrick film. I wish he just would have tried to go full Kubrick with it in some ways. But at times it definitely feels like a Spielberg film. Yep. But at the same time, I understand because you can't really copy Kubrick. You could try, but only Kubrick is Kubrick. Most underrated Spielberg film. I'm going to make my girlfriend really happy and probably say Catch Me If You Can. I think Tom Hanks, Leo are great in it. It's a great feel-good movie that you can honestly just watch at any point. I'm trying to think what else is there. Some people like Empire of the Sun. I think it's okay. I don't love it. I don't love it. Yeah. I don't like Warhorse. I do not like Warhorse.
People talk about Munich, but they don't talk about Munich. And I think Munich is one of those. I rewatched it again about maybe 2 or 3 months ago, just randomly. It was on late at night, and I couldn't sleep. I put it on, and I was like, man, I forgot how tense this movie is from beginning to end. And it's great performances from everybody. Bana, who they tried to make a lead actor for a long time, he does a great job here. Daniel Craig, Kieran Hines, so many of the whole crew and everything that happens. And it's one of Spielberg's most brutal films. I mean, when they kill that female double agent in her place, you're just like, oh my God, it is brutal film. Way more brutal than people give it credit for.
Yeah, Daniel Craig early in his career. Munich's up there. I mean, Catch Me If You Can and Munich are just totally different vibes, 2 different vibes of a movie. But I think like those are probably the most underrated. Yeah.
I'll throw in The Terminal, but nobody likes The Terminal.
No, you like Terminal?
I do.
No.
I do.
Spielberg has. I don't know. He's like sometimes when he misses bad. But like I never saw the BFG, but I feel like nobody saw it.
I don't think I would ever watch that.
I don't think I'll ever watch it either.
It's not my jam.
But listen, I'm always excited anytime Spielberg has a new movie coming out.
That's true. It's true. Just
West Side Story, I'm not too excited for. Because why do you remake a classic?
I was going to say, can you improve on 11 Oscars? Unless you're coming out with something that can win 12 Oscars, why are you doing it? And
I don't know.
Why are you, as a white man, directing this story? We saw it already. Let me have a Latino direct this story. Let me hear the Jets and Sharks from their point of view. So it just was frustrating overall. I know it's Spielberg, but still.
At least with War of the Worlds, like he at least he was able to bring today's technology into it. So, like, I can understand that remake a little bit more as Spielberg being the blockbuster king he is. But, like, West Side Story, really? I don't know.
That's weird. But they can find you at JTE Movie Thinks on Instagram and Twitter, yes?
Yeah, JTE Movie Thinks on Twitter, YouTube, JTE Movie Thinks. The channel's been pretty slow because I haven't gone to the movies very much. I'm thinking about maybe changing my channel to doing some more experimental stuff, maybe some more montage stuff. So
nice. Keep
an eye out. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do until we're back to a regular movie going lifestyle. I don't know. I can't wait for it.
Me too. Well, once again, man, thanks. I'm going to let you go so you can roll on with the rest of your night. Thank you, JTE, man. It's great to catch up with you. Great to see you. We've had our battles in the ring. It's nice that we stayed friends and can still talk about movies. And listening to you talk about movies, man, gets me back excited about revisiting some films as well. Maybe I'll go on a classics kick for a bit. So it's great to hear how much knowledge you have.
I'll let you know how I feel about The Searchers.
Yeah, please do. Would love to hear.
Is it one of your top westerns?
Is that Unforgiven and Searchers, depending on the day you're talking to me, are 1, 2.
And I love Unforgiven.
Yeah,
Unforgiven's as of right now. Unforgiven is my favorite western.
Yeah. It depends on the day. Right now, Searchers is next week might be Unforgiven. So
I'm excited to watch it.
Awesome. All right, JT, great to see you, man. Take care of yourself. Give my best to your lady as well, and we'll talk to you soon.
Will do, buddy. Peace.
All right, that was JT hanging out with us tonight here on the Outlaw Nation Show. And thank you all for coming in and hanging out with us as well, sending your Streamlabs and your Super Chats. I appreciate it madly, and I'm sure JTE does too. He was so great to take some time to hang out with us. He's the best. And it's always fun to hang out and talk movies and catch up on all the things that we got going on in our worlds and what have you, and the madness of the world for sure. And you guys were great. Thank you so much to all of you coming in and being completely cool and respectful. I think there was only a couple of people. I didn't really see too many comments. Maybe you guys were catching them before they came in and dropped any troll comments. So I appreciate you all being so great in how you talked to JT and the comments you were leaving. Great stuff. A lot of fun. A lot of the ball busted too was much appreciated. I love that when it's done tastefully and done well. So thank you all so much. All right, one last thing to tell you, just quick promotional stuff. Don't forget that tomorrow we'll be doing the Geek Buddies. The Geek Buddies drops tomorrow. A new episode of that will be up there for you all to enjoy. Also, a new episode of The Jedi Way will be out there tomorrow for you all to watch. I'll be putting it up overnight there for you all to watch as well. And, of course, as I mentioned there with Royko, the Impolite Truths crew, Doreen and I are back on Thursday night to watch the debate live. You can watch with us. We will have the debate up on the screen, so we're all watching the same screen, watching the same debate at the same time, so we can comment on it. We'll have probably a little bit of a pre-show, maybe half an hour this time, jump into the debate, and then a little bit of an after show. So don't miss out on that. The last debate, as we head in around the corner into the election, it's going to be madness for sure. So don't miss out on that. Also, if you missed our late night show of Game Time here, 7 p.m. last night, we had to do it because I had to do a match yesterday. No spoilers, but I had to do a match yesterday. So 7 p.m. last night, we did Game Time. It's up there now for you all to watch all the NFL action, all the NBA stories, and some MLB talk as well. All of that up there. And, of course, earlier today, we had Mornings with the Outlaw, me and Alex Shawshak doing our thing there on Mornings with the Outlaw. So please go and watch that episode as well. All right, that's all my content. Oh, and Top 10 this morning. Me and Matt Nose dropped our new episode of the Top 10 on podcast, and it's on the YouTube channel as well, the Top 10 YouTube channel. Me and Matt counting down our Top 10 movies set in the fall. Top 10 movies set in the fall. Think you'll enjoy that conversation as well. One of our best shows we've done in the last few weeks. So go and enjoy that as well. All right, that's everything from me. Let me pull myself back up there. Thank you all again much, and thank you for being a part of the Outlaw Nation. I really can't thank you enough as we build this outlet step by step, piece by piece, pushing that boulder up the hill, come closer and closer to crossing 15,000 followers or subscribers, moving towards 20,000 subscribers. So please subscribe down below if you haven't subscribed. Sorry, I'm talking so much today. If you haven't subscribed down below, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. Please leave a comment down below as well after you watch this episode. Let us know what you thought of all the things JTE had to say, Sneider had to say, Oyama had to say, some of the fans who came in, or some of the watchers or viewers rather who came in and had their comments. Let us know about all of it. Leave a comment, leave a like, and share this video on your social media. When you share it, you are telling your friends and family that you approve of this kind of content and approve of the stuff we're doing here on the Outlaw Nation Show, and maybe they'll join the nation as well, and that'll be great to have them aboard and enjoying all the content we're doing here. All right, that's everything I got, and I'm going to end the show like I end every one of these shows, and I hope it hits some of you tonight. I had a couple of really beautiful direct messages for some of you all on my Instagram telling me how much the conversation we had last week, or with Dan, 2 weeks ago with Dan Merle, kind of really helped you all in some tough times. So I'll say this again. Whatever you need to do to get through the next second, next minute, next hour, next day, next week, next month, next year, please find your way to do that. Look, it's tough out there. I know it's tough out there. It's tough. We're struggling. We're all hustling. We're all trying to stay alive. We're all fighting through some insecurities, some losses of self-esteem, some losses in confidence, some tough moments. But remember what I said when we beat corruption for the belts in Orlando. Sometimes it feels like you don't have enough breath in your body to go on. You don't have enough strength to get up and keep fighting. But if you just take a moment, remember to breathe, get it back inside you, then you'll see that you can fight through it. You can get back on top, or at least get back up and keep going and keep going. And that's what matters, that you keep going, that you find your way through this and you keep going, because I want you to be part of the nation. I want you back with us as part of the Outlaw Nation. It would mean the world to me that we're back here a year from now and you've still been watching all these shows, watching all our episodes, and you can come in and have a conversation with us. So just sending a lot of love to you all out there, because I know it's tough. I've had my bad days throughout this whole thing. So just want to let you know we're connected in that way. And please find some time to send a message out to my man, Kevin Smets. That's my brother. My father died of cancer, so I feel this very deeply. And Kevin was one of the first people, new kids who came into the league and was just incredibly kind and nice to me and understood and respected what I had done before. Just one of the great ones here in our league, who really respected everybody who's accomplished things in the league, and kind of built his own legacy. And it was great to watch from the sidelines. And now, I hope all of you can send your love and support and just positive energy to my brother as he confronts this and fights through it and comes out the other side. So, and maybe some of you are fighting through some of that, or you have family members who are fighting through that. I send you positive energy. I send them positive energy to fight through it and come out the other side. All right. Much love to you. Thanks for watching. And of course, we'll see you next week with another brand new episode of the Outlaw Nation Show. You all take care of yourselves till then. And please wear a mask. Wear a mask, please. Much love.